Week 1 is in the books. What is up? And welcome to Ask DLF. The goal of the show is to answer all of your fantasy football questions and help you dominate your leagues. I'm Cal. He's Tyler. He's Addison. We're here to answer all of your questions. Reacting to Week 1, talking about player values, Cam Akers, Elijah Mitchell, Saquon Barkley. What happened? Penn State representing at least through Saquon this week. Addison's excited. Tyler, we're going to find out everything he has to say about it. But before I get to that, today's episode is brought to you by dynastyfootball.com and this YouTube channel. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Addison gets happy every time you subscribe. The little number right next to him. Is it right there? I can't see.
Yeah, it's by the nameplate on the StreamYard.
It goes up, and he's excited every time he sits there and he just like watches it. When he's not filming, he is just sitting next to that watching the numbers, and he knows and gets happy and is excited every time you do it. We have a lot to talk about, but you guys are the ones that are going to dictate everything we talk about. So your questions are what leads this show. If you have a question, use YouTube. That's the best way to do it. Live chat is absolutely fun on Tuesday nights. Taco Tuesday, Waffle Wednesday. Get in there. Let us know you're here. And now, Tyler, Week 1 reaction.
Oh, it was great. I mean, I didn't we all love having football back, right? I mean, everyone could stop yelling at me for all of the off-season nonsense that I always have to put out to fill the content void. So yeah, no, I love it.
Addison, had fun?
Oh, I had so much fun. I mean, not like on the day I didn't really have fun because like my DraftKings lineup was bad, but outside of that, no, it's fantastic. Football is so much fun, and football being back means that we're gonna have fun every single week until after Christmas or even February. So yeah.
So I've been dying to ask you this, and I can't. This is a must-ask question before we get to anybody. So I should have just put it in the chat, but I'm just gonna tell you. It was amazing watching the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game for me as a football fan with no.
That was
such
a good game. Yeah.
As a Steelers fan, was it like potentially like the worst and then like best moment you had?
So we were at Permani's. I was there doing my best friends. We were at Permani's watching it as we do every Sunday. We watch all the 1:00 games. And one of my other friends is an Eagles fan. So he was watching his game on the one TV and we were watching the Steelers game on the other. And he was pretty confident. He's like, the Eagles got this in the bag, so we switched over to the Bengals-Steelers game because it got really, really good. And that was like our entire focus. And we watched like Jamar Chase score a touchdown, but it wasn't actually a touchdown because they didn't look at the touchdown. But then he scored another touchdown that wasn't a touchdown because he stepped out of bounds by like an inch on a one-handed catch. Then he actually scored another touchdown. And then literally on when they scored to tie the game 20-20, my one friend goes, "That's it, game's over." And I said, "No, they're gonna block this extra point." And then they actually blocked the extra point. That was wild. So then we went into overtime, and then we punted it, and we were like, "All right, that's the game." Then they freaking missed the field goal, and then we get the ball back, and then we missed the field goal, and I'm like, "What are we doing?" It was a wild game for sure, and especially because being in a restaurant in central Pennsylvania where the large majority of people there were there for the Steelers game, it was just like every single thing was some sort of reaction from about 80% of the restaurant. I felt so bad if you tried to actually go there for like an actual meal without knowing it was Sunday.
Who would be that dumb? Who would be that dumb, right?
There was a couple right behind me that like had no interest whatsoever in what was going on. I felt so bad for them because they should work on like 5 minutes left in the game. So yeah, no, that one was really, really fun. I enjoyed it as a Steelers fan because I got to crap on Bengals fans and stuff like that. I got to call Joe Burrow trash. It was really fun, but we lost TJ Watt in the process, so that'll be sad.
And are you worried it means six more weeks of winter? I mean, Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, that's not good either. That one's not good at all. So we'll see how long Kenny Pickett it takes for Kenny Pickett to get back on the field.
Tyler, how'd you feel during the game? I know you had a lot of your rankings. Week 1's always, a mismatch. I mean, we were like looking at things as they unfold, trying to figure out, does this mean everything? Does this mean nothing? Like, what was that like?
Well, I mean, a lot of people came to me for my start sit advice. Always. Um, yeah, it was good. I did pretty well. I didn't get too much of the people coming back at me later. I did start sit on this channel. It went better than I ever could have expected, to be honest with you. We tried to do start sit on this show last year. This channel last year was a disaster. So, thanks to everyone. Maybe it was me. I don't know. Thanks to everyone for watching that. I'll be back next week doing it again. But yeah, takes wise, it was fine. I mean, you got to react, but not overreact. But we know that.
Randy chimes in with our first question of the day. If you have a question, you can do exactly what Randy did at 7:25 my time, 8:25 Eastern, which is like 35 minutes before the show starts. Attaboy, Randy. Appreciate you getting it in.
Nice.
Let's get to it. 14-team Superflex PPR. He traded away Wentz, top 5 QB right now, top 3. Flacco and Burkhead. Flacco in his 59 pass attempts. For Cousins, James Robinson, and a 23 third. How do you do?
Awesome.
Yeah. A Cousins side easily. I don't get this trade.
It's like a wild week 1 overreaction right there to me.
But overreaction to what? Cousins was great and Robinson was great.
I guess he needs
More
2 quarterbacks. He said that the team that he traded Wentz and Flacco to had Dak. So I guess he started panicking and said, I need 2 quarterbacks. So I sell my 1 borderline QB1 for 2 QB3s, and one guy's not even going to have a job in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they both might not have a job in 2 weeks. I don't know. But if Wentz keeps playing like he did on Sunday, he'll be fine, at least for the year. But,
well, I wouldn't count on that. He doesn't play Jacksonville every week.
That's true.
But this week is against Detroit, so it could be good.
Yeah,
it could definitely be good.
This is overreaction. Take advantage of that for sure if you're in a dynasty league, because some people do not play.
Kirk Cousins was really excellent in week 1. What are they overreacting to? I don't get it.
They're overreacting to Wentz and Flacco and Burkhead. But it's weird because Cousins is great. James Robinson scored 2 touchdowns.
I don't understand. Oh well.
Randy says, we're awesome. You're awesome, Randy. Appreciate you. He says, it wasn't a will if CeeDee Lamb is ever going to reach the potential we all think he has. Biggest riser and baller, who is the fantasy world overreacting about. So just start with the first one about CeeDee Lamb. I think it's a good conversation. Obviously, the next few weeks are going to be a little bit more rough with Cooper Rush, I would think. But CeeDee Lamb, are we worried about his long-term potential at all?
You want to hear the craziest thing I heard? The craziest thing? Multiple people, not just one, multiple, told me that the Dallas offense would be better without Dak Prescott. It would be better. Dak Prescott going away would improve. I was like, are you out? And then I had more people trying to be like, Cooper Rush is a great quarterback. No. Cooper Rush sucks. He doesn't, he's nothing. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be a disaster. I don't know if CeeDee Lamb's ever going to reach potential. I mean, he had the targets. That was something, right? I mean, he had 11 targets, but some of those targets were, they were nowhere near him. 2 of 29, that was really
bad.
It's really bad. I don't know. I mean, it could be a while before Dak Prescott comes back. He's certainly not going to reach the potential with Cooper Rush. I mean, for this week, I ranked him at wide receiver 21 coming up with Rush. So, and not great, but target share is not bad. They're going to be playing from behind.
Yeah, if he maintains the target share, he should be decent enough, The problem is that in order for him to reach the potential, he needs Dak Prescott, which we know is not going to happen for at least another month and a half or so. The problem, though, is that like CeeDee last night still was like, that was kind of what we've seen from him in his first 2 years already, to where like it's kind of hard to like see him continuing to grow more and more, to where like I do feel like he's definitely not a top 5 dynasty wide receiver. I don't think he's still a wide receiver 1 for sure, but I feel more confident in someone like DK Metcalf than I do CeeDee Lamb, which like a week ago would have been a hot take, But it's just like the problem with CeeDee is that we've raised his value so much without him really doing anything production wise. It's just all based on pedigree and what we think that he can be, which I still think he can do it. Like he has the ability and talent to do that. I just don't know if he actually will. And so it's hard, and people are trying to sell out on CeeDee right now. I think somebody asked me earlier today if they would trade Kyle Pitts away for CeeDee. Like that was an offer, was Kyle Pitts for CeeDee Lamb straight up, and I was like, LOL. Like people are trying to do this now because they fear what CeeDee's going to do for the next month and a half without Dak. It's going to be a struggle for sure, but you need to be patient. If you have CeeDee, you can't trade him right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, no way. We're going to talk about the rest of this as we go along for the rest of the day. We do have a super chat. If somebody, what do you guys can pull that up? Great. Trevin, thank you so much for putting that. If you have something that you need us to get to and you want to hurry up, this is the best way to do it. Super chat, but we appreciate it. It's good support and shows the higher ups like Addison that we're doing a good job here. So I appreciate that. 12-team Guillotine League, $1,000 fab. How much are you spending on Derrick Henry? Lost my RB2 to injury. Does this mean that Derrick Henry's on waivers?
This was a Guillotine League, so a team gets chopped, and then all of their players are put to waivers. I have learned that I know zero about Guillotine Leagues. I don't play them. I've never played one. You're not. I'm sorry. You're asking someone who knows nothing about this. Someone asked me how much it's been on Cooper Kupp. I said 100%. I thought that was smart. Apparently, I was told not really. Probably would have said the same here. I guess that's not going to be the case. I have no idea. I don't know. This is the kind of thing where like I just don't play this kind of format ever, and never been something that's interested me. Yeah, sorry. I wish I had a better answer for you. But I'm not going to just pretend and give you a bullshit answer if I don't know. So
yeah, no, I think that's the best way to do that. But I unfortunately I also don't have a lot of experience in Guillotine Leagues. Addison, any chance you can?
I did learn today that I know nothing, and that there's a whole strategy to Guillotine Leagues that I just like took an airplane and went way over my head.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. We actually got a YouTube comment earlier today asking almost this exact same question, but instead of Derrick Henry, it was Jonathan Taylor. And I'm like, how do you not just like spend all of it just to get Jonathan Taylor?
That's what I said, but apparently that's not how you should play it.
Right. Like I was like, basically like every single week there's going to be studs and players like that who get chopped. So it's like, it seems like people would spend maybe like 25-30% of their fab for somebody like this, because next week Justin Jefferson's going to be available. Then you're not going to have any fab for him. So I honestly, I'm the exact same way, Trayvon. I'm so sorry. I really just don't understand how the Guillotine waiver system works to really give you like an accurate answer. Like if somebody told me that they would be like, oh, 20% is actually the answer, I would understand that for saving fab for later on in the future. But also at the same time, like just in my head, I'm like, this is Derrick Henry. Why would you not do everything that you can to just go get Derrick Henry? You know, Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson. Maybe somebody else, and hopefully somebody else maybe in the YouTube chat. Like,
but at the same time, it's like you don't want to not be aggressive, because it could be you out of the league next week.
Well, yeah, so that's why I thought 100% made sense. But again, apparently I was told not so much. So
I agree. You got to be. This is interesting strategy. I can see why this ends up being an interesting format, and maybe we just need to get into the league. We need to get in.
I mean, I won't. I'll never do that. But you know, for me, I just always find that the one thing I've learned is the reason why this is the case. The reason I'm so passionate about start sit is that it's universal. Everyone does it, no matter the format, unless it's best ball. You set lineups in every single format. You set them. You're making the same choices. So that helps everybody. I don't delve into most of these formats because the audience is just too small. Like the audience isn't there for it. So that's why I don't do this, or I don't do IDP. Debbie, the audience is big enough, but there are other analysts who do it better. So, you know, that's why I usually stick to mainstream Dynasty and redraft, just because otherwise there's just not enough people interested.
Let's jump back over here. Randy asked a good question about the San Francisco 49ers backfield, which gave us an interesting surprise when Jordan Mason was active and Davis Price was not. So I think very reminiscent of last year when we got Elijah Mitchell active over Trey Sermon. And then, of course, Marlon Mack gets signed to the practice squad today. So is Jordan Mason this year's Elijah Mitchell as Elijah Mitchell gets hurt a la Raheem Mostert last year? Or is this an overreaction?
I don't know. I think Jeff Wilson is going to get the touches to start off, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Jordan Mason being active and Davis Price wasn't to me wasn't all that surprising because Mason does a lot of stuff in special teams, whereas TDP is not doing special team stuff. So when you already have Elijah Mitchell, then Jeff Wilson, then if you you got to Jordan Mason, then that's totally fine. To be honest, I'd be, and maybe this is just me hanging on to what Marlon Mack kind of was and what I thought about him when he got signed by Houston initially, like before the draft and stuff. But like, I still feel like Marlon Mack is a fine enough running back that I almost feel like he's the RB2 that,
he's
that
washed,
he could come
dude.
in over TDP. But I think I mean, I don't think that he's like not washed. I just think that he's fine enough. And I also think that he's probably immediately coming in ahead of Jordan Mason. I just don't get the Jordan Mason stuff. Like people are just like all aboard this guy just because they saw Elijah Mitchell do it last year on the same exact team. But Mitchell is light years better than Jordan Mason. I'm not really
like
overreacting to TDP. Yeah, that's for sure. We do. I'm not really overreacting to what the Niners think they're going to do or what we think the Niners are going to do just because of player availability in week 1 in a really weird game as well. Like that game, I'm completely throwing out that game in its entirety for the season.
I think Jeff Wilson is going to be the starter for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. We'll see what happens after that. I don't know, though. It's tough to trust him. I mean, I'll play him if I have to, but I'd really rather not.
Yeah.
Eddie T, hey guys, happy Taco Tuesday. Got an interesting offer here. 10-team Superflex start 10. Send Lamar Jackson, Michael Pittman. Receive Jamar Chase, Derek Carr, and 23 seconds.
Wow. I mean, in a 10-team Superflex, I'd rather have Chase over Lamar. But I would.
I mean, you get Lamar and Pittman.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Chase. Just deal with it. Take Chase.
If you told me that 23 second was like 201, 202, so it's basically like a first in 12 team, I feel like it's probably that side.
I'll take that side anyway.
Yeah, I think if this was 12 team, I think it'd be the Lamar side fairly easily to me. But yeah, the 10 team, I'll go with Chase and Carr. Todd, is now a good time to move Saquon Barkley for a guy like DJ Moore? And I'm going to agree with Peter here that says no. Come on now.
I mean, yes, it is a good time to move Saquon Barkley. No, it's not a good time to go for DJ Moore, who is in Baker Mayfield hell. DJ Moore, not good. Not good. I don't want DJ Moore. DJ Moore is tumbling down my rankings. I'm tired of him. I want to go for someone who actually produces more fantasy points. I don't want to hear about that. Not DJ Moore. It would be a good time to move Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I mean, I make sure I do know what I would do. I mean, my target would be to go for CeeDee Lamb plus. That's what I would do. The talent I still believe in, but not DJ Moore. DJ Moore is CeeDee Lamb 2 years from now, who doesn't have Dak Prescott coming back. I don't want DJ Moore. I mean, I don't want to say don't want DJ Moore, but not good enough of a return at this point. DJ Moore lost a good amount of value. I was very displeased with what I saw in week 1.
Would you trade Saquon for Michael Pittman?
Yes, I would. Okay. Speaking of the opposite of displeased, Michael Pittman very much, despite what I really liked is Michael Pittman was great, despite Matt Ryan looking horrible. So, yeah, I would.
Let's jump in on that super chat right there if you guys can grab that. There we go. Scott McCoy. What's up, Scott? Appreciate you being back in
Thank you,
here.
Scott.
Yeah, 12 team. Half PPR. My starting quarterback was Dak. My wide receivers are AJ Brown, Higgins, Scary Terry, and Lamb. Should I trade Lamb and one of 423 first for Devontae Adams?
No. Of course not. No. We're not adding a first to Lamb to get Adams. I'm not going to do that.
What about Terry in a first?
I was going to say Terry in a first sounds way better.
Mm-hmm.
Terry in a first? Still not going to do that. I mean, I just don't do that. So no.
I think I would do that.
I'd be willing to do Terry in a first. Pick which one you think is going to be the worst.
Yeah.
Or
I just think now is the worst time in Dynasty to trade Lamb. Like you can't treat Dynasty like redraft, and I think too many people do that. CeeDee Lamb is just the worst time right now to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. He's gonna be more valuable than he is right now. That's gonna happen.
Could you? I don't know. So I don't know if you're the one offering this to do Lamb and the first to go get Devontae, or if this was offered to you. But if you're the one offering it, I would try to just do a first for Devontae. Maybe you don't even need to add anybody.
That might be tough.
I think it might be tough after the week that Devontae just had and the fact that he got like a 55% target share. But depending on who it is, they might be willing to go for it, or maybe do like a first and a second or something like that. I would be willing to do first and Terry, because Jahan Dotson's coming for Terry McLaurin's job. That's just biased. Sorry, maybe not. But I'd be willing to do Terry McLaurin and the first for Devontae, because having AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, and CeeDee Lamb as your wide receiver 4 would be.
I hear you.
Insane.
I prefer not to give up on my my first so easily.
What if it was like 110? Would you?
But you don't know it's going to be 110 though.
That's true, but like, I feel like I would try to reasonably guess which one's going to be the lowest pick.
I hear you. I don't hate it. I mean, Terry McLaurin is someone I'd like to get rid of. Someone who did not have many targets, but who scored a touchdown and had a couple long passes. That's the kind of player I want to get rid of usually.
Devontae Adams, still good at football.
Oh, but no one ever said he was bad.
Oh, plenty of people did.
Well, I was not one of them. I mean, I had him at wide.
Aaron Rodgers made him. That's a lot. So definitely some conversation.
Actually, if you remember, what did I say all offseason? We were going to see.
Here,
well, we were going to see, which we did see, by the way. We did see that it was the other way around. And Aaron Rodgers looked like absolute dog shit in week one. Terrible, absolutely terrible. And if he does not deliver, just because I want to get this out there, I don't care if there's a question about it. If Aaron Rodgers does not deliver in week 2, he's done. Sell him now. I begged you. If you were watching the show, I begged you all offseason, please. He's no ceiling. 38. Get rid of him now. And get rid of Aaron Rodgers now. He's not going to be the same guy without Devontae Adams. I begged you. Now we're here. This is your last chance. If he doesn't deliver in week 2 against the Bears, it's over. So this is it. Take what you can. Get rid of Aaron Rodgers now. Get rid of him now. Because a 38-year-old quarterback's never recovering the value. But I begged you all offseason, both of you and everyone else.
Dustin says, evening, gents. Smash week 1, but lost Dak in QB2 superflex position. Need advice for week 2. Options: Mac Jones, also banged up. J.D. McKissick, Jeff Wilson, Brandon Cooks, Zay Jones, Corey Davis, Austin Hooper, or Conklin.
Does this sit? I mean, I guess I'm going to
start.
I think I'm going to put Mac Jones in there anyway, in a superflex spot. I don't have any of these guys high enough. I don't think. Brandon Cooks would be the only consideration.
I was gonna say. I think I'm playing Brandon Cooks.
I'll still play Mac.
I'm not confident in Mac with this offense, with the coaching system that he's got. It's
at Pittsburgh too. I mean, that's really wonderful. But I would
without TJ
I'm
Watt.
gonna still try it with a quarterback. Cooks is against Denver, a matchup I really dislike. I don't think he's gonna do very well.
Well, I don't know. The way Gino was cooking last night.
Mm-hmm.
But see, Gino didn't really cook, though, like for his receivers. The receivers did nothing at all. I mean, would you be happy with DK Metcalf 730 for 36 over a quarterback? No.
I'm happy with 7.
Yeah, but that's 10.6 points. That's nothing.
I know. I'm not going to start.
If you told me that I'm getting 10.6, I would just start a quarterback. So I think I'd play Mac anyway. It's frustrating though. I will say, Mac Jones, not good. And the other one, Bill Belichick, I think we have passed him by. I think it's time for him to retire. I really do. I think he doesn't have it anymore because this is a disaster. He has no idea what he's doing. I mean, Matt Patricia, we have a vendetta against Kendrick Bourne for what exactly? Pissing Matt Patricia off a month ago? And the only weapon who showed any dynamic, anything at all, was sitting on the bench. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's time for new blood in New England.
I agree with Brandon Cooks there, Dustin. Hector, how do you address tanking?
This. Yeah, I understand why you're stressed about CeeDee Lamb. I would be too, but you got to hold on to the talent at this point. This would be the sell low. And like I said, DJ Moore is CeeDee Lamb 2 years from now and still had value all offseason. A lot of it. So I wouldn't worry. And he doesn't have Dak.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. And I do think CeeDee Lamb's talent, it's a great point on DJ Moore because production doesn't seem to matter for his value as much as it does for other receivers for some reason.
DJ Moore didn't produce just like CeeDee Lamb really hasn't to that level. CeeDee Lamb was drafted slightly higher, significantly better prospect than DJ Moore. Same age, both came in at 21. They're really very similar, actually, players to me. Not really an alpha one, but can play as the wide receiver one on their team. Very, very similar. So I would not just get rid of CeeDee Lamb.
Good question from Hector. How do you address tanking? I get losing to get Bijan, but if Athlete tanks, it could destroy the league. So definitely a few commissioners I know have talked about here. Any thoughts on this, guys?
Let him tank. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, it's a lot of effort to police people's lineups. The rule for me, start a player, they better be active. I don't want to see a player on a bye. I don't want to see a player ruled out, but who knows? I mean, you never know. If you start a player, you could have started who came out of nowhere this week. Yeah, Carson Wentz this week. If you had started Carson Wentz over whatever, I don't know.
Russell Wilson,
yeah, was not so great. Yeah. Or Aaron Rodgers. You started Carson Wentz over Aaron Rodgers. People would say, that's crazy. But then, maybe not so crazy. So this coming week, I might actually consider starting Carson Wentz over Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, as long as the lineup is legal, I would say it has to be allowed. I'm not going to go in and police, well, that player looks better. I just can't. I don't have time for that as a commissioner. There's already so many other things I have to do. So yeah, I would just say, forget it. Let him tank.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. I think that teams, I think as long as they're not tanking with the expectation that they're going to leave the league at the end of the year, but you wouldn't tank to do that.
But who would tank and leave the league?
Right. Unless they're giving up.
Collusion. That's collusion.
But I don't really have a problem with tanking either. I think that teams should do what they want to do with their teams. They're the ones paying money. They know what they're doing. Or at least they think that they know what they're doing. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, only one person's getting that. So if you're a contender and half your league is tanking, you have 6 free wins apparently.
And it just depends on what you mean by tanking. I think make rules to avoid things you're trying to avoid that you think are going to ruin the league. But if you're worried that somebody's selling Devontae Adams for a first, that's not tanking.
That's not tanking. No, that's not.
Yeah. Somebody not setting their optimal lineup, if they've got studs and they're keeping them on the taxi squad too long, or Jamar Chase shouldn't still be on somebody's taxi squad.
There are things. Yeah. There are things that are a little bit of a problem, but
yeah. Exactly.
I don't think Jamar Chase being on a taxi squad is a problem, though. If it's part of the rules that say that you can have a rookie or a sophomore on the taxi squad, that's part of the rules.
So that's what I'm saying. Make rules that avoid the things you're trying to avoid in whatever it is that you're worried about here, Hector. That's what I'm focused on there. BJ Lee, Alberto, what are your thoughts after the first game? Do you like what you saw? I do. I feel like Russell looked for him when he was under pressure a decent amount, and it wasn't great numbers, but I thought future-wise, this could be a relationship that grows after their first game. I didn't mind. Alberto looked like he produced, and I thought he looked big and strong and fast when he caught the ball.
Yeah, nothing changed for me. This is fine. So I mean, he played on 2/3 of snaps, 5 for 33, no change. This is almost exactly what I was expecting.
The only problem is going to be if he loses any volume that he had when Greg Dulcich comes back. That's going to be the litmus test for, is Alberto going to be a thing or not? Is if he starts losing snaps or targets to Dulcich. Because as of right now, he's the only guy in town. And I don't think Javonte Williams is going to get double-digit targets every single week. So maybe that funnels a little bit more to Sutton, Judy, and Alberto. So we'll just see how it goes until Dulcich comes back.
Broncos tight ends played 48 snaps in this game.
Combined, right?
Yeah, but that's a lot.
That is a lot.
So they were playing 12 a lot, which means that Penn State waste of time, KJ Hamler, can go back to being a waste of time on Dynasty waiver wires, like I had been saying. Waste of time. He is, yeah, you can honestly cut him. You don't need him.
No, I agree. You can cut him.
He can go.
Dustin Oz, regarding the Mitchell injury, I have Jeff Wilson, but don't need him to start. Better to keep him for depth or try to trade him now. What's a realistic return in a trade? Picks or players? What do you guys think?
Oh, I would trade him now. I don't think he's very good.
It depends on what you can get.
Yeah, I mean, one single third is like, might as well wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, if you find the guy who had Elijah Mitchell and try and get a second from him,
that's not gonna. I think that'll happen if you're playing with people who don't watch the show. If you're playing with someone who's tapped in at all, I think that the
do Wilson in the third for a second.
That's more likely. I think the days where you could trade Jeff Wilson for a second are 3 years ago in Dynasty. I think most Dynasty managers on average are more competent than in the past. Sure. I don't think that you're going to get that. So I think that the target would be probably 2/3 or Wilson in a third for a second, I guess would be the best case scenario.
I think you could just really weigh in. Good.
I'd hold if it was thirds. Like my rule on this stuff, like when a backup running back all of a sudden gains value, I'm trading him. And, my goal is to get a second. And like people do get desperate. Like and when they get desperate, they don't mind giving up that second because then like that means nothing, but they want that running back that's going to get starts and has the potential to, just like last year, Elijah Mitchell, all of a sudden he gets a bunch of value. They're still chasing last year. And I think you could get a second.
I don't think you can, but I always like to get the value before they have to actually produce something. Just like with Dameon Pierce, you wanted to get the value before he actually had to produce anything.
Oh, that's a big smile from
Addison. Because maybe he wouldn't have to maybe he didn't actually produce anything. But you got the value increase.
But Tyler, he did produce. He did produce in the preseason against backups.
But that doesn't count. That doesn't count. So Jeff Wilson hasn't actually produced anything. You don't know. Next week, we could come out and suddenly Tyrion Davis-Price is the starter. I don't know. So why don't you take the value now? Try to get a couple of thirds, see what you can do.
I'd go for the second and see what happens. I think you could really just
you can always go for it, but I don't think you're going to get it. So if you
just
can't
lean
get it,
in on the fact that Elijah Mitchell is going to be out for like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it was, and then
it's going to be more than that.
The argument is that you have Jeff Wilson as a starter for potentially 2 months.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell has like dropped off my Dynasty radar almost, honestly.
It's sad.
BJ Lee says Juwan Winfrey looked good. Any thoughts on Juwan Winfrey?
Can we talk about players who matter?
Okay. Wow. Smash cuts of Juwan Winfrey and his family going, hey, ouch.
Look, I'll just say this. I want all of these players to do well. The reason that I'm this mean is because if I just said, yes, this, no one watching the show would know what advice I'm actually trying to say, right? If I'm mean about players who really, honestly, for fantasy purposes, don't matter, then it's very clear what to do based on what I'm saying. If that's what, a lot of people said about the Start Sit show is that they liked that I didn't do the well, you could do this, you could do this. It's like, I don't do that because I want to give you the answer. You watch the show to get the answer. So, if it's mean, it's mean, but sometimes mean is clearer.
He wasn't
Shock
part
door.
of my Dynasty waiver wire pickup video for a reason.
Which was a great video, by the way, that people on this channel should watch. I think that people should watch more of Addison's content. I don't think Addison gets enough love.
Thank you.
12 teams
Wait,
who
you
left.
don't.
Dak
I don't think
or
you
Russ
do.
Wilson?
Russ.
Oh, Dak.
Definitely Russ. Definitely Russ.
No. I'll still take Dak, actually, because I feel like now's the opportunity. I think you can get Dak plus for Russ, given your reactions.
Oh, well, sure. I'll take Dak in a second.
Right,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think
But I don't have a second here. So I'll just take
Right.
Russ.
No, I hear you, but I feel like Russ, he was pretty good in the first game, actually. But Dak is also really good and is way younger than Russ. So I would still go with Dak in Dynasty. I like Dak a lot long term.
Can you get
he's not
Russ
going
now?
anywhere.
Can you get Russ for the production now and then in November trade him back for Dak?
I just
Probably.
don't think people are giving up on Dak. Dak's been a fantasy producer his entire career. Every
Right, but
time
I
Dak's
feel-
been healthy and playing, he's been good.
I
One
feel like
bad
people just
game, we're
don't
gonna give up.
recognize it though. Like he's always just like you have those top 7 quarterbacks, and then
I
Dak,
hear you.
and then you get into like, that's
I hear
how
you,
it's
but Russell
worded.
Wilson's value is what it is. He's going to turn 34 in November. He's not going to go back into the first round ever again. Whereas Dak, 4.5 years younger, I think still has more of an opportunity to gain value over time, or at least not lose it. So I'd still go with Dak. It was Dak before this injury. Really, a 4 to 6 week injury
Not bad.
is going to change it. I guess so. If you're desperate a contender, I understand.
Mhm.
But in
Let's pull
terms of
that
my
super chat.
rankings, I have Dak higher.
Let's pull that super chat up here if you guys can.
I got it.
There we go. Joel traded Najee for T. Higgins and AJ Dillon before week 1. Full PPR
Nice.
redraft. Any thoughts?
Oh, redraft.
Well, in a redraft, I would have taken Najee before week 1. At this point, I don't know. Who's healthier, Najee or Higgins? I'm not sure. Najee says he's playing week 2. I don't know if Higgins is playing.
Najee's probably healthier, but he's going to try to play through that injury, which could probably make it only worse.
And then AJ Dillon, you have kind of back and forth 2 things with him. He got more work than I think we expected, but the offense looked a lot worse than we expected. So I think those 2 things kind of cancel out. And
Well, I think
give
the
him-
nice thing about Dillon, did you expect that much receiving work from him?
No, but the offense didn't move. And I don't think that that's going to continue. I don't think that's representative of what they want to do. I don't think that they cannot possibly. Matt LaFleur is not the smartest coach in the world, so maybe he does. But they can't possibly look at A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones and think that A.J. Dillon is better in the passing game than Aaron Jones. It's just impossible that they feel that way. So that's going to change.
I'm just curious to see what happens. I hope it stays.
It's
That
not
would be
going
so
to.
nice.
It's
Appreciate
not
those
going
feedbacks.
to. I think the more likely is that it gets closer to a 50-50 split.
Woody the Badger wants to know, should it drop Chris Olave or Melvin Gordon for Julio or Samuel off waivers? This has to be redraft. And
Yeah, this is redraft. Now Curtis Samuel is one of my top redraft ads, I would say, of players who were actually out there. Julio, is interesting. Julio is interesting for sure.
I'd drop Olave for either.
I think I would have to drop Olave. I don't want to. Gordon got a lot of work in week 1. Yeah, I think I'd have
I'm
have
not
to drop
dropping
Olave.
Gordon.
Probably for Julio. Take my chances on Julio and put Julio in the lineup.
Flosaurus, 12 teams, super flex, 1 PPR, start 9. Jameis or Lance in my flex. I'm leaning Jameis hard. No.
No.
Do
We
not do
cannot
this.
play Jameis against Tampa Bay. We saw what happened to Dak against Tampa Bay. So
No.
No. Listen, I am so glad that Jameis had a good 4th quarter, but that was it. He just had a good 4th quarter. Like, I was getting text at halftime from people who were big Jameis supporters looking for Andy Dalton. Just
Oh no.
Saints fans who did not want, like, he was awful in the first half, like absolutely dreadful, terrible, had no points. All of his points came in the fourth quarter.
Lance.
It's Lance against Seattle, even though Seattle was better than expected.
Yeah.
No, but it'll be in a game where it's not pouring rain.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Lance.
Who are we moving on from or stashing? Chubb and Hunt.
What do you mean?
Why are we moving on from either one of them?
Yeah, I don't want to move on from either.
I don't know.
Chubb rushed for like 150 yards and Hunt scored twice.
It's so, dude. Honestly, every time I watch Nick Chubb, I'm like, this might be the best pure running back in the NFL. Like the fact that he's sharing that with Kareem Hunt and
frustrating.
So frustrating.
So frustrating. I think you're gonna be able to play Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt though against the Jets.
Tyler, on your show, you said check in tonight on Judy or Sutton. Where are you?
Well, Sutton is not going to be this year's Cooper Kupp. That much I can tell you for sure. That did not come to pass. As for who's better, I mean, Judy outproduced him. They both had the same reception, same targets. Judy had a few more yards and scored. So yeah, I mean, in Dynasty, I'll stick with Judy for the age. In redraft, I think that the weekly rankers are a little bit behind. I'll have them had a little bit of a gap in Sutton's favor last week. Now I have them back to back, and I'm going to debate who I have higher. But the Cortland Sutton being like a wide receiver one fantasy universe that people lived in. I don't. Obviously, they're wrong. It's not happening.
Yeah,
super chat. Grab that super chat.
Najee looked like he was running in concrete. I think the foot will continue to bother him.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Steelers' offensive line is so bad.
You know, I just think that it was not what I wanted to see, that they passed 42 times and they had 7 targets each. It's not what I wanted to see. I don't like that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Najee's injury scares me. It's
not going to be good.
Oh, Najee's injury is a whole other problem.
Man,
it's not going to be good. You know, I don't even feel confident starting him anyway, even if he was normally healthy.
You have to.
I know you have to, but I'm just not confident about it. Like that was just that offensive line is so bad, and he's not getting targets the way that he was last year.
Right.
It's Najee's not going to be good.
Tyler, here we go. You have to be happy about what Saquon did, right? Giants fan.
Giants fan.
Happy. He looks
I'm a
good
Giants
again.
fan. Why would I be upset?
Yeah, you got to be happy. That's right. It's good.
Let's go.
I tell you what, honestly, like I doubted we would see this version of Saquon ever again, and it was so much fun to see it. So much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Eric, do we have long-term concerns of Dak being the starter beyond 2024 when he has an out in his contract?
If they give up on Dak, I think there's going to be many teams lining up to have Dak as their starting quarterback. So they can feel free to do that. But yeah.
If they've gone this far with Ezekiel Elliott's contract, they better.
Jerry Jones is going to give up on Dak. I don't think so.
Like, it's tough to predict that far out. So much can change.
I think people just don't realize just how good Dak Prescott has been in his career. I mean, I just don't think that they really understand.
Steve wants to know, he's got the number 1 waiver. Who should he spin it on a wide receiver? Samuel, DPJ, not that one, Robbie Anderson, or Campbell in PPR.
Well, what is this? Is this
redraft?
Redraft, I guess it has to be, although this could be Dynasty. DPJs probably wasn't out there for Dynasty. In redraft, I think I'm going to go. I mean, if we're looking for this week only, Robbie Anderson would be the one I would put in this week against the Giants. I
Are you picking him up off waivers though? If you have number one priority?
No, I don't think I would spend the number one priority on wide receiver, any of these guys. So no,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
that's the answer to my question. Is I'm not using my number one waiver priority to pick up any of these.
I agree with you. I wouldn't do that.
I'd be tempted with Samuel. I feel like
I need to
Why?
see it again. I need to see it
Because
again.
the way they used him, I need to too. But you're going to be too late. Somebody's picking him up. I
Sure.
think the way they
That's fine.
used him is the way we've been hoping that Curtis Samuel will be used for 3 years now, right? 4 years. This is
Yeah,
what we
I
want to see.
I just think that can't possibly last. I mean, Jahan Dotson is only going to get more and more involved. Terry McLaurin's not going to have 4 targets every week. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the carries and all too, right? Like, I think it's more than just. It's more than like obviously he got good targets, but I mean, he was getting carries in the backfield and all too.
I guess. I mean, I still don't buy it.
Yep.
Tim, what's up, guys? What's up, Tim? After week 1, who's the largest dynasty riser?
The largest dynasty.
I think it's Michael
riser.
Pittman.
I already had Michael Pittman so high. Like
I know he was already a wide receiver 1 going in, but
I raised him like 4 overall spots. He's not the highest, biggest riser. Oh no, I'm on Ross St. Brown. I'm on Ross St. Brown. He rose quite a bit of value for me. I mean, he went from somewhere. Yeah, he gained about like 50% of value. Yeah, I'm on Ross St. Brown. He is the real deal.
I think it's James Robinson.
It's another good candidate. He's just lower on the list. And James Robinson, for me, it's kind of like, I get it, but there's no universe in which Travis Etienne is going away. Like that's not a universe that we live in. Like Travis Etienne, Travis Etienne's not going away. This was Travis Etienne's first NFL game.
It's true, but he's a pass catching specialist with a better pass catching running back on the same team. That's not a good recipe for success for Travis Etienne.
I don't know if I want to say that. I mean, I guess
they ran a play for him that he just dropped in the.
Right, but there was one. This is one play ever. I mean, I hear you, but
then later in the game they ran the same play, and it wasn't him in there. They put James
that's
Robinson.
What happens when you mess up. I mean, you get.
Something.
I hear you, but James Robinson is not.
He's a better pass catcher.
We'll see about that.
He's tough as heck. Like I love.
He is tough.
What he shows.
He is
like,
tough.
And fearless. Like they're talking about Cam Akers.
Look,
like,
I mean, Addison was there for the conversation where some people said that James Robinson and Samaje Perine were similar. So, I vehemently disagreed. And, obviously I was proven correct by this game. But I still think that James Robinson is not – he's not going to push Travis Etienne away. So if you have this opportunity to sell James Robinson – I would do that. And I still think Travis Etienne has a higher ceiling. Travis Etienne did not look like in terms of the running backs to panic on, right? Travis Etienne is last on my list. I do think that the universe in which he's just everything is gone. That universe is gone as long as Robinson is there. But I don't think that he has to be bad. Travis Etienne actually ran well. He only had 4 carries, but he did run well. He doesn't look bad.
Who's your biggest faller, Addison?
Akers.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that was just so long ago at this point.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to think of some other names that kind of came to mind. It's just really hard to like. I don't want to be. Oh,
Jalen Tolbert fell out of existence to me. I mean,
yes.
He couldn't even make the game day roster with Gallup and Washington injured. So with Gallup and Washington injured, Jalen Tolbert could not even be active for that game. And now there's no Dak.
James Cook?
No, James Cook, I mean, he at least saw a touch earlier. He was a faller for me, but not to the same degree as Jalen Tolbert went from relevant to essentially zero value.
This will make Tyler happy. You know who is probably dead for Dynasty, at least especially for this year, and maybe he finds a new team next year. It's Mike Gesicki. He's like,
Yeah, but
gone.
but see, this is exactly what I expected. So I'd already dropped him the 5 rounds that people are going to drop him now.
yeah, I'm like,
Now
it's just,
he's already being valued as in the range of useless this year, and we're waiting to see a new team. So I'm not going to keep dropping Gesicki because I'm no longer like he's already there. Like I'm not going to continue to drop him because I do think Gesicki is not a bad player.
The rest of the community is just catching up.
Yeah, I already dropped him.
Also, for largest dynasty riser, I know like rankings wise, he's not rising up a whole lot, but he's rising massively in confidence. Not so much confidence, but he did what I expected him to do. It was AJ Brown. Dude's like,
I already had him so high.
He's the first sure. He's the first sure wide receiver 3, and he's gonna be damn near unattainable by the end of the year.
I had him so high
absolutely.
already. I warned. I mean, I told people this would happen. Like, and Devonta Smith, big fat 0.
He might be a good one for Dynasty Faller, just in terms of the lack of confidence that you have in playing.
I feel bad for Devonta Smith. I really do, because Devonta Smith is a good player. He's a wide receiver 1 on half of the other NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's extreme. But I think Devonta Smith is not a top 25 wide receiver in the league. But there's a lot of good wide receivers in the league. Think about that statement again. But Devonta Smith, think about that again. If he's a wide receiver 1 on half the teams in the league, that means he's
KJ Hamler.
He's not that. But Devonta Smith is a good player. He is probably
back to you with my list, Tyler.
Somewhere to 30 to 35, 30 to 35th best wide receiver in the league. He's a good player who I would not give up on in Dynasty at all. He just needs to find his way into a new situation. Look what happened with Hollywood Brown. Not that it worked out week 1, but I'm just saying, like, he could be the next one to be traded away. Devonta Smith is not bad. He didn't become bad, but he's finished for fantasy unless AJ Brown gets hurt. He's finished. Devonta Smith is finished. I ranked him for this week. I've already done my week 2 rankings. Devonta Smith comes in at wide receiver 40, and I think that's too high. Wide receiver 40. I'm not even sure I could play him at that ranking, but it starts to get ugly after that.
Deluxe wants to know Joe Mixon and Mike Evans for Javonte Williams, Waddle, and Henderson. Thoughts on who wins?
Well,
this is a dynasty trade. Any trade, this is not close.
Yeah, it's the Javonte side. No matter the format. Yeah.
I
mean, if it's redraft, it's reasonable. If it's redraft, it's reasonable. Because I'd rather have Mixon over Javonte in redraft. I'd rather have Evans over Waddle in redraft. And then Henderson is something. So in redraft, it actually seems very fair. But in Dynasty, it's obviously the other side.
Eric's done hyping CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with the take that CeeDee Lamb is not a wide receiver 1 who can change the game. I think now we have to think about CeeDee Lamb as a DJ Moore. But remember that DJ Moore has carried Dynasty value without any Dak Prescott for a long time. Right. So I would just say that CeeDee Lamb is someone, and CeeDee Lamb came in at 21, just like DJ Moore, 21 years old. And so he's 2 years previously on the age curve to where DJ Moore is now. So I would just not give up on CeeDee Lamb. I still rank him. I have him right now at wide receiver 7. And we'll see how he does over the next few weeks with Cooper Rush. If he's like a wide receiver 5, then we're going to reconsider.
From the Trade Finder, there is one CeeDee Lamb trade today. Tell me which side you want. CeeDee Lamb for Kenneth Walker, Christian Watson, and Noah Fant.
CeeDee Lamb. Yeah,
easily Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yesterday, CeeDee Lamb for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahan Dotson.
Oh,
Amon-Ra and Jahan Dotson.
I'll
That's
still
much
take
more
Lamb.
fair.
I'll still take Lamb.
I don't
It's
know
very
about
close,
that. I'll take Lamb reluctantly, though.
I'll take Lamb, but man, Amon-Ra St. Brown somehow still got targets with TJ Hawkinson and DeAndre
Jahan
Swift
Dotson, I feel like could really maybe be something, but I'd like to see a little more than just one game.
Addison. So initially you had Pickens ahead of Dotson pre-draft.
Yeah.
Then you moved
Switch
it.
That.
Then I think you moved it back, right? Like
Switch
once
that.
Pickens... So are you switching it back again? Do you have Dotson ahead of Pickens?
Probably.
Can't make up your mind, you know?
They're so close. Like I see the
Yeah.
upside with both of them, and it's just, at least I feel like Jahan just still, and this is the main reason why I switched post draft was I feel like Jahan just has an easier path to being the team's wide receiver 1, or at least being the more dominant 2 on his team, and.
Yeah.
I guess that just like watching the games on Sunday just kind of proved that for me because Claypool was still pretty heavily utilized. And he's not going away for another year or two. Yep. Deontay signed a contract extension. So, they still have Najee and Freiermuth, who I see Peter's been doing work in the chat. Loves Pat Freiermuth as well. So it's just harder for George Pickens to get on the field. And when he's on the field, he has way more competition than Dotson does.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go with Dotson. It is close.
It's very close. I think Pickens has the higher ceiling, though. Dotson can't reach what Pickens can if they both
agree with
ultimate
that.
Peak.
I agree with that.
Matthew Mulligan with a trade, DK Metcalf and Dallas Goedert for Saquon Barkley and Albert O.
Wow. I'll take DK and Goddard.
Yeah, I think it's mainly for the Goddard over Alberto.
Nice to see the crew back together. Scuba Steve, sell Curtis Samuel for a third, or can you get more for him?
You can't get more, really, right?
I don't really think you can.
Not unless
until he does it again
against the Lions next week.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would hold him. I would roll the dice. I'd be willing to see what you have with Curtis Samuel if he becomes like a Cordero Patterson player kind of out of nowhere, like a phoenix from the ashes, just rising again, and see if you can do that rather than just sell for a third right now.
Yes, I think, of course, he's Deebo Samuel, no doubt.
So, no, real quick, I made my list of the teams that Devonta Smith would be the wide receiver 1 on. And I got 10.
I can't imagine I'm going to agree.
All right. Well, I just went through. Yeah, I got 10. New England.
Okay,
definitely. Sure. Yeah.
Baltimore.
Oh,
it's close.
I'd rather
really
have
close
Bateman
there.
So no.
Okay.
For me. That's a no
so
for
you
me.
got one. Cleveland.
yes.
I think I'd rather have him over Amari at this point. Yeah.
Kansas City.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, he would be.
Tennessee.
No.
Yes.
I'd rather have Burks. Burks has way
Houston?
more upside than Devonta Smith.
Houston.
No. Not today.
He'd
I think it's better today.
He'd be the number 1 dynasty wide receiver there.
He'd be the number 1 dynasty wide receiver, but Cooks.
I feel like that's relatively similar to Cleveland-ish.
No, I think
Cooks is better than Cooper.
I think Amari Cooper's washed up and Cooks is still good.
Jacksonville.
So I was thinking that's where I would most want to see him is in Jacksonville.
I mean, I think Kirk showed out week 1.
He did.
Not sure.
But
not sure.
imagine Devonta Smith getting Christian Kirk's target.
Yeah, but that's an interesting one.
New Orleans.
I did not have them on the list.
No.
The Giants.
The Giants, yeah, for sure.
Green Bay.
Yeah.
And Chicago.
Yeah, I guess.
So that was my 10. And you disagreed on a couple. So you were pretty close to, you said top 25. So
yeah, but there's also some teams who have 2 wide receivers who would be better than him.
Oh, for sure. Or 3.
Which team has 3?
I don't know. I just kind of threw that one.
Not sure there's any teams that have 3, but the Broncos are definitely one. The Broncos
I'll
are
make
one that
my
has
list
2.
of teams where he would not be the wide receiver.
The Broncos are one that definitely has 2. The Bengals definitely have 2. The Bucks have 2.
Who's the better LA buy low, Mike Williams or Allen Robinson?
Oh, Allen Robinson is like very interesting because he was open. He looked good, but he wasn't involved in the game plan, which is kind of what was going on in Chicago. He wasn't involved in the game plan. Why wasn't he getting involved in the game plan? It's the same problem. I am concerned about Allen Robinson, but I didn't really move him down because he was out there. Let's see if he does better. If it's another issue next week, he's one of those players that like yeah, I'll willing to give him one chance. But if he doesn't deliver against Atlanta, that's it. That's it. I don't care if he's not out there for 95% of snaps. If he doesn't deliver, it's over. Mike Williams was not as bad, right?
He had like
I just
3
don't like
targets,
Mike
4
Williams.
targets or something.
I don't really like Mike Williams either, but Keenan Allen is out. So, and they're playing the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
if they're both the same price, the answer is Mike Williams.
It's Mike Williams. For this week, I have Mike Williams ranked at wide receiver 13. So I'm going all in. I'm just hoping.
FF Lefty is in the house. What's up, dude? Order 66 had it. Hey, great start, sit show. Tyler, thanks. Good job, dude.
Yeah, it was weird. I usually don't enjoy recording alone, but that was actually probably the best show I've ever recorded alone.
D Magoon, 10 team, 2 QB, half PPR, start 10, looking to compete in 2023 and beyond. Got offered Pitts, Garrett Wilson, and Jimmy G for Najee, Winston, Hockenson. That's Brian Robinson. I want to say Bijan. We're going to start getting some initials in there. And Juju. Can I give up that much? Absolutely. Take Pitts, Garrett Wilson, and Jimmy G.
I think so, right? I mean, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that side.
Yep.
Not competing this year anyway. Yeah. Take that.
Yeah, well then, yeah, definitely want to move off Najee.
Cecil Fielder. What's up, Cecil?
This is a very bizarre question.
I still want to know if you're the real Cecil Fielder or not. Please just tell me. And even if you aren't, just tell me you are.
Yeah.
Would you rather the 23-111 or 24-106?
This is an interesting hypothetical. Like, let's just say it's a hypothetical and we knew it was these. Probably take the 24-106, but this is such a not helpful question to answer. Like, you can't know that. So
this will be really interesting to ask in about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Once we get to that point.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to ask that.
111 or a mid 24 first? I think
I would take
a common question.
I think I'd take the 24 first now still, because there are like I still think 2024 is going to be like 2021 was to 2020. So I think you would take the 106 over the 111, maybe.
Generally in a normal year, I will take a random future first for the upside over the 110 or later. Right. So the 111 is 110 or later. This year it was the 102. That's very unusual. But usually the 110 or later, I'll take the random first.
There's also the possibility.
Question.
There's also the possibility that there are some 2023 players who stay.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of speculation that really we can't speculate on.
Right. It's hard
my
to
answer to that question.
This is funny. Scott.
Oh, Scott says, last time I'm giving you guys money tonight. It doesn't have to be, Scott. You can keep doing it. We're not going to complain. 12 team, half PPR, single QB, Lamb for Godwin, and the champs 23 first.
Godwin looked good, and then he got hurt again with a different injury. It's so unfortunate. He looked good.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be so right about Godwin coming back and being great. And then he got hurt. But you look good. You look 100% healthy, right?
Sure, but
you looked 100% healthy. This is right on the line, you know.
I'll take Godwin.
I think I will too, but this is right on the line.
I'll keep Lamb. I know he's got a better quarterback next year.
If it were Amon-Ra, I would take the first for sure. A receiver I have a little bit higher. If it were a little bit lower, like Treylon Burks, Jerry Jeudy, I definitely wouldn't do it. So this is right on the line.
What about Elijah Moore?
Elijah Moore, I have way higher. I still have Elijah Moore higher than Amon-Ra.
I feel like that's what I'd be looking for if I was going to do a deal like that. Like, I don't think Godwin is who I'd be going after.
I'm totally fine with getting Godwin in the first. If it was Godwin in a second, I would be
fine.
Yeah.
I would take Godwin in the first.
I just wish Godwin weren't hurt again.
Right.
Like, it's so frustrating. We didn't even get a complete game. Now he's hurt again.
Just feels like it's going to be that kind of year for him. Where
that's why I'm a little concerned. It's just like the value is going to go into dust.
Mm-hmm.
But you get the first.
That is nice. The first is nice. Yeah.
And if Lamb does continue to lose value too, you know, they might kind of cancel each other out and value drop. to where you get the
Yeah, it depends on how much value he loses when Dak comes back. It does sound like the Dak coming back timeline is moving sooner, not later. Like it seems like it was like 8 to 9 weeks, it seemed. Now we're looking at more like 4 to 5.
Jerry Jones said on radio that it was 4. And so
I don't buy it. But I would say that, it's really the kind of thing where if they don't force him back, they can't win. So
I'm getting really annoyed. Can we get to 100 concurrent viewers?
I know it's like right
you guys
there.
been watching
that? Yeah.
Oh my God.
We've been in the high 90s for about 15 minutes
also
now,
like
and it's really
share with your friends. Pull up a freaking device. Come on, do something. Here we go.
Yeah.
No, but okay, here's my question though. I just think when you think forward on this, like when Geno Smith is the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year, where's Godwin going to be ranked versus
that's not going to happen.
CeeDee Lamb. Okay, but
Yeah.
like I'm just saying, like look at what happened with DK and what happened to his value.
You know something very funny? I mean, I don't know who's going to be the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I don't know either. I'm just saying, obviously, in a hypothetical, they're good. They're low in the draft. They're not getting up and going to end up with a high draft pick and a great quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Like it's going to be a veteran. And if you look around at who's available, it might be Trubisky. It might be Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
It might be Baker.
It might be Baker. It might be Sam Darnold.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would take Godwin in the first.
We'll see.
I'm comfortable taking that, Scott.
Could be Jimmy G, I think is more likely than any of us.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire or David Montgomery. And then once overall thoughts on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and go, Tyler.
I mean, he still didn't get that many touches. I don't buy it with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but as bad as I feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and still don't feel great about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, David Montgomery was horrific. I don't care how badly it was raining. Khalil Herbert looked just fine. There was no problem. The offense actually moved when Khalil Herbert was in. It didn't move with David Montgomery. It didn't go. It didn't move at all. I think that David Montgomery is done. I think David Montgomery is a couple weeks away from losing that job. I think it's over. He's on the last year of his deal. They're not bringing him back. And I think, Khalil Herbert is going to be their starter soon. So yeah, Montgomery's finished. So it's Clyde for me if I had to choose.
My answer for this is neither, and it's a second.
Neither, but if you have to choose, it's Clyde. Because I really do think Montgomery is finished. 17 for 26 is just abysmal. I mean, abysmal. He looked terrible. The offense didn't go. The offense didn't go when he was in. And then Khalil Herbert came in, and suddenly the offense moved. Suddenly the offense moved with him in.
Sean traded Barkley for Breece Hall on Saturday. Should I be regretting that deal or just be happy with the youth?
Be happy with the youth.
Be happy
I'd
with
still
the
rather
youth.
have Breece Hall.
Yep.
Can't change it. Can't change it.
Can't look
Keep
back.
moving forward.
You got to look forward.
Trevon, understand I'm in the same boat. First time playing. Really cool concept. Just understanding Fab.
That
So
was
this
the
was his,
guillotine.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It is hard.
I wish
That
I could
is-
be more helpful. We should
Yeah,
play in a
it's really
guillotine league
cool.
next year.
Yeah, no doubt. Invite us to
League.
your league next year, Trevon.
The DLF, DLF
You.
guillotine league.
Yeah, you can play in guillotine.
Ja Webb, I don't know anything about, but spend $335. Good. There you go, Ja. I like it. Let's see. This
We
was
answered this already.
Yeah, I think it ended up being a super chat. Ed's in some guillotine leagues. If you have a hole, you better plug it immediately because you go down quick.
That's the risk.
It's true. Everybody else is getting better. So somebody's going to add Henry if you don't add him. And that's,
Right. And you might be the one eliminated. And you don't get to add anybody. And you had $1,000 in Fab.
Saved a bunch of money you don't get to use. Let's see. Oh, shoot. I lost. Okay, there we go. Can't take too many L's like you can in redraft and Weather a Storm. Franz, single QB, redraft full PPR. Would you trade CeeDee for Kyler? Single QB. I have Dak as well. Oh, my goodness. Fields, Ryan, and Wentz are on the wire.
No, I would play the waiver wire game and hold out with CeeDee Lamb. Because Kyler also did not look fantastic without DeAndre Hopkins either. That offense is just weird. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury should have a job. Like, I think he just tries too hard. He tries to do too much, and it's really weird. And like I think he tries to be creative, but ends up not being creative. And yeah, I in a 1 QB redraft league, I'm just playing the waiver wire. Pick up Carson Wentz. Pick up Justin Fields too. Fields had double-digit carries, and also threw 2 touchdowns in the rain to Equinemius St. Brown and Dante Pettis. So, you could stream and find guys with Dak Prescott on your injured reserve, assuming that you have one, then trading CD for Kyler. If you're trading for a quarterback, I'd want it to be like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. Like I don't want or Jalen Hurts, but you can't get those guys for just CeeDee Lamb. So I'm just playing the waiver wire game.
Yeah, and Matt Ryan, like this week he gets the Jaguars. Do that. Go get Matt Ryan. And so if you need a running back, you better, this is back to the guillotine. Is Jameis Winston worth a second?
I think this is Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson, and definitely not.
Oh, Jeff Wilson. Okay, he might not be, which is why I agree, and I would take the second, but he's going to go for that.
If you can get a second.
On the trade finder, it's going to be there for sure. Matthew Slebzak, I'm looking to get Debo for Elliott and Allen Robinson. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Just a question. He says seem legit, so I think he's like being sarcastic. I hope so. Kit Coop, hey fellas, Hall didn't look great in week 1, but trying to buy the dip. Is giving up Gibson and the 11th to 13th pick in 23 too much for him? Gibson and a 23 first for Breece Hall.
Hall.
I mean, it's Hall.
Especially if it's that late. Like I'm assuming this is a 14 teamer, so it's a late first and a 14.
Mm-hmm.
Is easily Breece Hall.
Agreed. Phil traded Kenny Gainwell and a 23 second rounder for Devonta Smith. 12-team 1 QB. And the pick should be late.
Smith.
Yeah. Yeah. If the second's late too, that's even better.
I agree. And Miles Sanders, I thought looked okay. Like
he did. He looked all right.
Didn't look like terrible.
Gainwell also looked good too. So
he did. But let's see. I think I remember being like, wow, he got more Miles Sanders wasn't super healthy, but his 13 carries, and then like it got a little out of hand. They got Gainwell in there, and then Sanders came back. Alex Trump, evening guys. Any interest in buying Akers? If so, what would you be willing to pay to take on that risk? Let's talk about him.
I'd really rather not.
I don't. Would you buy for a second?
Yes.
I would too, but I wouldn't feel great about it.
I wouldn't.
Can you flip CEH for Cam Akers?
I guess I would,
Man, I really don't want Cam Akers unless it's coming to me super cheap.
Yeah.
The thing that makes me nervous also gives me a little bit of hope for the future is the comments about a lot of this being mental for him, that he's got to get over is my leg going to hold up?
It sounds like what Saquon Barkley was saying about when he was dealing with all that stuff, the last 2 years. But
it seems like the Rams want Cam Akers to be their starter.
It does.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
I'm sure they want him to. They invested a second-round pick into him. They probably don't want to have to go through that process again. But it's just...
They're going to have to.
Yeah.
It says Hall had 10 targets. I wouldn't say it didn't look good. It's true. Like, I didn't expect for him to have 10 targets, but here we are. It happened.
Yeah. He didn't look good rushing yards per... I mean, it was Baltimore. So it's just...
Right. It's going to happen. Let's see. Kid Coop was offered 23 third for Wilson. Should I take like or hope for more?
I really hope you could get more. I would like at least maybe 2/3. Hard. A single third just doesn't feel so good.
I'd hold for that point.
I mean,
that's another situation I feel like where it's kind of like Curtis Samuel, where if you're only getting a third, I just roll the dice and hope that he looks good and produces well.
Also,
right.
Like, could you trade like straight across? This is why I don't know why this came to my mind, but if I could trade Jeff Wilson for Tyrion Davis Price, I still would. I just hope.
I don't know.
The actual drafted
I
player
don't know
over
if I
the
would do
nobody.
that.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson to
yeah.
me is one of those that I think he like as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be the starter.
You might have
Right.
better luck with a player though. Like,
Oh, yeah. You might.
could you get who am I even looking to target?
Devonta Smith.
No, you're not gonna go that high. Like Josh Palmer. I would have said Josh Palmer, but I don't think you can get him now with
Not with
Keenan out.
Keenan's
Oh,
injury.
Trey McBride.
Ooh.
Inactive Trey McBride. Could you actually that actually might be realistic. Could you actually trade not tight end premium? Could you trade Jeff Wilson straight across for Trey McBride? Because I would do that. I still believe in Trey McBride just because a rookie tight end was inactive in week 1. It's not like Jalen Tolbert. A rookie wide receiver should be ready to play. Wide receiver, there. Addison's happy now. Wide receiver should be ready to play. But Trey McBride, I have not given up on a rookie tight end just because he didn't play week 1.
We did it. Congrats. Good job, YouTube chat. We got over 100. Hit triple
I want to
digits.
see that over
Nice work.
1,000 someday, though.
Me too. Caleb Short, how much is Mariota worth in a 12-team PPR super flex league? He looked all right.
Still not really buying it with Mariota. I'm not paying a second for Mariota.
He is the QB 10 right now, 19.8 points.
I understand, but I'm still not paying a second for Mariota.
No, I wasn't. That wasn't opposing what you're saying. That's just adding to the conversation, man.
Yeah. Like I said, I'd pay a third, but I don't think
No one's paying more today. No one is paying more today than they were 2 days ago.
No, he really wasn't good. He wasn't good. He was fine. I mean, he did it something with his legs, but he was as terrible of a passer as he always is. I mean, he was terrible. He looked terrible.
Yep.
I don't know why. I still think we're gonna see. I mean, they lost this week. This next one is at the Rams. We think it's gonna be better?
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be so good. The Bills might have torn the Rams apart, but I don't think the Falcons are gonna do the same thing.
I think Ed's got the right idea. Get a third and get a player.
And then they do have the Seahawks, but then after that, we come to the Browns at the Buccaneers and then the 49ers next. So those are going to be some very tough defenses he's going to have to face. Seahawks defense looked decent week 1.
Eric wants to know if you've got CeeDee Lamb, what would you need on top of Amon-Ra St. Brown to be okay with selling and parting with Lamb?
We've talked about actually these players a lot. I mean, I would certainly take a first with Amon-Ra over Lamb at this point. But it would be hard to take too much less.
Yeah, I agree. Amon-Ra in 2 seconds?
No.
Okay.
I like Amon-Ra, but not that much.
What would you need on top of Cousins to be okay selling Dak?
Now, that's a whole different story. I'm not, given my take on Dak earlier, I don't think I'm selling Dak.
Is it also a first? Would you do Cousins in a first?
It's more than that.
Ooh. First and second.
No, I think
nobody's going to give me that. So I guess I'm just not selling Dak.
Cousins with like in this offense with Jefferson, like who's going to probably have 3,000 yards this season based on week 1.
Give or take.
Generally, when I'm in a super flex and I lose a quarterback like that, I usually, unless my team is like the best team ever constructed, I usually just consider that to be it. I usually just pack it in, and I don't make rash moves to try to replace it.
8-man league for Kid Coop, Mike Williams, and Rashad Bateman to get Waddle. Yes,
I would.
Yes, 100%.
I'm not sure. I guess Williams and Bateman are rostered in an 8-team league, but
wow,
that's not who I want to be.
Dynasty, right? I mean, it's probably Dynasty.
I'm thinking it's Dynasty.
If it's 8 teams, like how deep can it be? I don't know. That's interesting.
Bateman's weird also because he looked good, produced some fantasy numbers, but didn't have the targets.
Vic, 16 teams, PPR, trade Gabe Davis, and a 23 first for Taysom Hill. No, I'm sure that's Tyreek Hill, and 223 seconds, plus 224 seconds.
This seems like a lot on the Hill side.
Yeah, I'll take Hill.
Yeah, the Hill side.
Hill for the first is already kind of close.
Mm-hmm.
Not if it's that late in a 16.
Oh, I guess if it's that late, I
doesn't even say
missed the
super
110 to
flex.
116.
So
yeah,
I'll
I take
Hill.
Tyreek over the first, and then 4 seconds.
It's enough for Gavis. So yeah, I'll
sure.
take Hill.
Costy 12 teams, Superflex PPR, AJ Brown and Bateman for DK, Judy, and a 23-second.
AJ Brown. Yeah. AJ Brown for DK and Judy is probably about right.
I was gonna say this is pretty close just
Bateman
for AJ.
over the second.
AJ Brown, man, he's gonna be so good.
Yep, he's elite. Do you not see the Julio Jones that I was talking about earlier? Like that career path. I mean, that's what I see. That's what I see happening.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
Pato VM 12 team 1 QB. Would you trade Kelsey and Mike Evans for Najee Harris and Kittle or Bateman?
This has to be redraft, right? I mean, this is Dynasty. It's Najee easily.
Agreed.
Right. If it's redraft.
If it's redraft, then
Kelsey and Evans.
Then Kelsey and Evans easy. Yeah.
Easily.
Yes.
Let's see. Stud. Yeah, there we go. How much fab for Jeff Wilson and a Dynasty? 100 max, 10 PPR.
Dynasty? What are the odds someone better is going to come along on waivers?
I was going to say, I'm really aggressive when it comes to
in most Dynasty
waivers.
leagues, there is no big pickup this week because Jeff Wilson is already rostered. In most leagues, I've found that he's already there. If he is available, I'd say I'm fine spending all of it.
Yep.
I'm fine spending all of it. How often does an immediately startable player in Dynasty come from waivers? How often? This might be the only one in Dynasty.
I could see it as like if this is like a 10 team and you're only rostering like 18 players or something like that.
Well, then that's a different scenario. That's closer to redraft.
But if you're starting 20, if you have 20 man plus, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
I was trying to see. I know I have a league that the waivers already ran, but not
in most Dynasty leagues I'm playing in, or like Trade Addicts, where there's 350 players rostered, it would be all of it. But Jeff Wilson is not available.
Yeah, Wilson should be on in all.
Wilson was actually traded today, I believe. Yes, Matt. Oh, people we know. Matt Price, we know who that is, and Dynasty Outhouse. Sound familiar? Cordell Patterson and Jeff Wilson for Damian Pierce.
Oh,
it's like Addison's worst nightmare.
Oh no!
I take Damian Pierce.
Am I taking the Cordell Patterson side?
I'll take Damian Pierce.
Oh my god! I guess you have to take Damian Pierce.
Take my chances.
I don't like that trade at all.
No.
Let's see. Yeah, Ed with a thought on tanking. Gentleman's agreement that we all start a reasonable team. Generally, best players we can with some. I agree, but like obviously, like if there's frustration, that means like the gentleman's agreement has been breached, at least in one person's mind. That's why it needs to be written down. Get something in writing for your league, I think. Ohio card collector. I have number 1 waiver spot and team was top scorer. Is it worth it to use to pick up Samuel or wait for running backs or better options?
Also, just like a side note, can we please get fab in these leagues? Why do we still use the waiver priority from the 1990s? Why do we still use that system in 2022? Let's get fab in these leagues. How about that? But don't use it on Samuel.
Yep, I agree. Wait.
Man.
I ranked Curtis Samuel this week, our initial ranking at wide receiver 55. So that's not even someone I want to play.
Am I the Curtis Samuel guy?
You are. Apparently.
It's not that
I think I'm the Curtis Samuel guy.
It's just that I really do think they're going to see what Jahan Dotson did in week 1, and they know Terry McLaurin is a star, and I think we're going to see him. I have Jahan Dotson ranked at 34. I'm confident.
Excellent.
I guess most of what the Lions gave up was on the ground. So I don't know. I just think like without Brian Robinson, they obviously still don't like Antonio Gibson. Like I think
it's crazy. I'm wheels up on like everything for Washington in week 2. I have Gibson at running back 13. It's like old times.
Cameron Ward, Truther, what are we doing with Lamb right now? With Dak, we talked about Lamb a lot. I think there's a lot of obviously a lot of conversation about Lamb, but you cannot sell him, right?
Nope.
Yeah, he's just another DJ Moore.
Joel says Andrew Beck actually looked good. I don't know who Andrew Beck is.
Andrew Beck is another tight end for Denver. I wouldn't worry about him.
Vic Z, 16 PPR trade. Gabe Davis,
this one
123 first.
We just
6
did
teams. 16. Sorry.
We just did that.
Yeah,
we just did this one.
Let's see. Anti-tanking. There we go. Said rookie draft order. I don't know. Like, I don't like this. I think just like put it in the rules. If you don't want it to
That's
happen, put it in the
potential
rules.
points. Yeah.
How concerned should we be about Cam Akers? Are we overreacting with only one game?
I'm pretty concerned.
Watch my video tomorrow.
But I will say that Cam Akers falls into the Allen Robinson category where this is it this week against Atlanta. If he doesn't deliver, if it's week one again, then I'm just done with Cam Akers. He needs to come out and at least challenge for committee touches.
Considering there's trades in here where he was traded for Brandon Cooks, Ian Book, and a second rounder, a 25 third. Like, yes,
all right,
we're
so it might be time.
overreacting.
Maybe it is time to buy Cam Akers then.
Yes.
There we go. 12 teams, Superflex PPR, Lamar and Kenneth Walker, or Jefferson and Sutton in a Superflex PPR.
Still Lamar with Walker.
Still Lamar, but
Yes.
man, Jefferson
That
looked
is close.
unbelievable.
He's so good.
He's so good. Oh my God. Let's see. Some back and forth. Dax 29, to be fair, says Peter.
Yeah.
Peter put in work in this chat. You're going to see a lot of Peter stuff.
As Alkseb. I don't know what that's
Like
supposed
button.
to. Hit the like button. Do that.
Addison gets his wings.
I do.
Let's see. Just Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams on a worse roster. Is that Chubb and Hunt? Is that what he was saying?
Guess so.
Sorry, I'd stick around, but apparently I have to stop watching the stream and go find love. I don't know. What's that
No,
about?
that was weird. That's spam. There's people spamming. The good stuff.
Oh,
pretty
Peter. I like it. Okay. I'm skipping all this. Chubb is so good. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Best running back. We don't play football. That's right. We play fantasy football. Absolutely. I want to know if he looks as good on Peter's spreadsheet as he does on the field.
I bet he does. Just a bet though.
Like, is it possible that Peter watches the games like on a live updating spreadsheet on his computer and not
Possibly.
on an actual TV screen?
I think so.
But I'm
I
sure
think
Peter
so.
doesn't type in the names one at a time.
I don't think he does.
Peter with the biggest pot calling the kettle black in the history of the world. Is this live? Doesn't feel
Do they
live.
get behind on the Dynasty
Behind
grind
the
chat?
Imagine.
Did
Oh,
they
I'm
get
sure
behind?
they do. They spend 10 minutes on one question.
Oh, I do feel like if I let you guys have your way, sometimes we would spend.
We
10
probably
minutes on
would.
some of the
That's yeah,
questions.
probably.
I'm actually the one who does that though.
I was gonna say like there's a bunch of times like I'm like okay. So here
No,
we go.
I want to have my rants, but then when we actually discuss it, I want to move on. Sounds like Tyler.
Hello, I have Zach Ertz at tight end. Was that big enough on the hello? Or there's 2 exclamation points. Hello,
I don't know.
have Zach Ertz at tight end and am receiving a trade of my Aaron Jones and Stephon Diggs for his Pitts, Saquon, and Mooney.
Well, if it's Dynasty, it's easily the pit side.
Dynasty,
If it's redraft, it's
I want
closer.
the Pitts, Saquon, and
I'd
Mooney
still
side
take
either
the
way.
pit side anyway, because in redraft at this point, I might prefer the Saquon and Diggs are similar. And then, yeah, Mooney and Pitts is pretty good value for Jones, so I don't like anymore. So yeah, I'll take that side anyway.
Yep.
Oh, let's go.
I have not given up on Darnell Mooney.
No.
The objective got Burkhead while tanking. League clowns all my trade offers. Should I wait for some more production from him or cut back? I need to know what the offers were. If you were like trying to sell Burkhead, is that what he's
I'll
saying?
take a random fifth for Burkhead.
I was gonna say Burkhead is not like Jeff Wilson. Burkhead is get whatever you can get.
Yeah, I'll take anything.
Maybe not a
Burkhead,
fifth, but
I like fifths. Fifths
a
are
third or a fourth.
they make me happy.
Addison, fantasy points in this season. Who has more, Burkhead or Dameon Pierce?
Oh, Burkhead, because he's gonna have receptions.
No, Dameon Pierce. No,
Down with the Pierce.
Here's the thing, like
you hate Dameon Pierce. What did he ever do to you?
Sucked in college, and then all these Florida Gator fans came at me on Twitter.
No one's ever sucked at college and been good in the NFL.
I think it's the Florida Gator fans, honestly. That
Do they just hate you? I mean,
they just found my tweet and then they shared it with all their other little Gator buddy friends on Twitter, and then they're all like, "Go like quote tweet this clown." And then I you know what was really funny though was, old takes exposed retweeted my he won't beat out Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead, and then all these people like clowned on me whenever Marlon Mack got cut. And yet Rex Burkhead was the starter in week 1. So I went back and replied to a whole bunch of those people and I sent a lot of The Office, how the turntables gifs.
nice.
To reply to
yeah.
people.
Why don't you tweet more?
I should, honestly. I get some pretty fire interactions.
Look, set a reminder with a bookmark on that tweet, and every week that Burkhead starts, just go back, unlike their tweet, and like it again. So it shows back up as another notification.
Yeah,
I should do it. The one guy yelled at me. He's like, "LOL, you victory lapping after 1 week or something like that." And I said, all these Gator fans were victory lapping me that he was the starter whenever one beat reporter in Houston said that he looked better than Marlon Mack on like August 1st.
In preseason. Yeah.
I was like, congrats, bro.
wow, this is fiery, Addison.
I just, it's Gator fans, man. They're all trash. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I don't know if like this is a good
Clipping
time.
that.
Good time to remind everyone that you can cut clips out of this show and broadcast it onto Twitter. That might be a decent time to do that right there.
Usually it's me, but not me today.
Anybody can. Any of the 100 people watching this right now can clip that out and tag Florida Gators, tag Tim Tebow, tag Steve Spurrier, tag Danny Werfel.
Dan Mullen, apparently, because he was the guy. He's the reason for Pierce being trash.
Oh, I didn't even get this question. Dom C, what's fair market value for Tyreek Hill in Dynasty at 23 first and a 23 second?
That's probably what the Jets should have paid to acquire him.
Ooh.
But sorry, that's not what you were asking.
Tyler needed to cut in. He felt outdueled by the fiery breathing hot takes and destruction.
No, I'll say that I would, if in a super flex, I would accept that. I would accept that, and
I would too.
I
agree.
No, the Jets shouldn't trade their 23 first for Tyreek Hill. No, get out of here.
That's true. They could get Jackson Smith and Jigbo with that first.
Yeah, that's true. But they didn't really. I don't know. They needed to. Would have been fun to have Tyreek Hill with Elijah Moore,
but not with Zach Wilson.
Oh, no, Zach Wilson.
I don't know. Zach
Wilson is. I have a new name for him. It has nothing to do with his name. I have a new name. This is gonna be a good one. Mr. Dumpster. Mr. Dumpster. Zach Wilson.
I feel like we could get a better name.
Well, I have a better name, but I don't think we can. I don't think we can say it on here. I don't think we can talk about that on here.
West Coast Chiefs, 12 teams through flex PPR. Get Waddle in a 23 second and give Kenneth Walker in 23 first. What are your thoughts? Kenneth Walker cleared to possibly play this weekend.
Waddle. I'll believe Kenneth Walker's going to play when I see it. Right now, I don't have him playing.
I want Waddle, no doubt.
Waddle, yeah.
There we go.
I'm leaning that Ken Walker is a week or two away.
I'll give him to the end of the month.
I know a handful of Cowboys fans, and most of them think Dak has largely been masked by a supporting cast all these years, and which is on week 1 is closer to who he is in reality in terms of talent. I don't think that's true at all. Every fan base has a pocket of people who hate the quarterback.
Yep.
All right. So in 2016, Dak's rookie year, he the year that he went 13-3, I believe, that year. No receivers had 100 targets. Nobody. Leader was Cole Beasley's 833 yards and 75 receptions. And the corpse of Des Bryant managed to catch like half of his targets and score 8 touchdowns. And that Dak Prescott completed 67.8% of his passes through 23 touchdowns against 4 interceptions and ran well on the ground with nothing in the receiving room. So, yeah, not true. Not true.
Brandon, looking to sell Wentz high in Dynasty. What trade value would you be looking for? Wentz and a 24 second for a 24 first.
I think I'd have to do that and take the 24 first.
Yep.
What would I add to Wentz to get Ayuk?
Do you need to add?
Yeah, I'm not sure you have to add that much.
I don't really think you need to add in a super flex.
Ayuk is an interesting
No,
buy
I don't think
low
you need to
because I
add.
feel like people are like dumping his value after one game in the pouring rain. You know. So I still like Brandon Ayuk a lot. Like, I think we're going to find that Deebo Samuel was the overvalued one.
Maybe.
Brandon Ayuk was valued kind of just fine.
Robert, hey guys, was offered Dak and Sky Moore for Tua and T. Higgins. I'm not a competing team. I have 23 first next year, including the Dak owners. Which of these sides would you? This is an easy one for me.
Yeah, it's an easy one for me too. I'm going to go with Tua and T. Higgins. Yeah,
Yep.
The value's on that side for sure. I mean, T. Higgins, just because he had one bad game doesn't mean I don't. With a concussion doesn't mean I'm out. He's 23.
Mhm.
Love T. Higgins, and Tua looked fine. I do think Tua for me is like just okay. And this game he looked. I mean, I could imagine how good would Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle be with an actually good quarterback. You know, he's just okay, but
He didn't have to do much.
no, but he's just okay. He makes the throws he needs to make. He's just okay. But I think with the weapons, he'll look good. I think he'll win. I mean, if Tua in year 3 once again goes 9-8 or 10-7, you think he's getting replaced? I don't think so.
No, that'd be too far out.
And Brady, the whole Brady coming back for another year thing, I think Brady is done. Brady seems to be in trouble with his wife for staying even this long. So I would say that Tua is probably going to get another year. And yeah, again, he's just okay. But I'll still take him in that deal.
Pittman or Amon St. Brown and a 24 first.
Amon Ra at 24 first.
Yep, I like that one.
I'll take Amon Ra for sure.
Jeff Wilson worth adding a redraft. If I
I mean,
I would drop
absolutely.
Mason. I'd drop either one of them.
I'd drop both of these. Yeah, in redraft.
I always agree with the answers, but I always enjoy the show and appreciate the insights when I ask questions. Also feel like the questions are worthwhile when you guys disagree on the answers. Definitely.
There's definitely more disagreement than on my own podcast. My own podcast is a lot of agreement. I don't know why that is.
They're scared of you. We're not scared.
That's probably true. You know, it is my show, so has Tyler written on it. So that's probably somewhat true. But I also just feel like naturally, like we find more disagreement on here from different perspectives. Whereas like I'm probably come from a more similar place to my co-hosts on my show.
Who that dude says Robinson is not better than Travis Etienne. He's a better pass catcher, is what I said. And
no, he's not. Cal.
He is.
He's not.
He is.
Not.
Travis Etienne is a better route runner, but has hands of stone and needs to fix that.
Well, he has. Yeah, go watch the way he tries to catch it. It's just
no. Travis Etienne is a better route runner, but he was open. I mean, there was another opportunity. Remember, there was earlier in the game. There was another problem. There was the one where he ran that wheel route, right? That wheel route, and Trevor Lawrence airmailed. I mean, the pass was not even close. Not even close. Should have been a touchdown. And he got open on that route. So if he maybe we're talking about a different conversation, but maybe he would have dropped that one too. Yeah.
Pull that super chat up.
Who's a better opportunity to start next year? Willis, Ritter, or Howell? What about this year? We're not on next year right now. How about
I
this
think
year?
Howell will start later this year. I know Wentz started off good, but I think he's going to start later this year.
I'm believing it less after the first game. I'm believing it less after the first game because Wentz actually looked fine.
Yeah.
Jaguars, Lions, like he'll buy himself some extra time. By the end of the year, Howell gets a start. That's my prediction.
I think actually all of these three might get some play this year. But Willis is the one that I want.
Right. I agree. I think Willis gets first dibs.
I'd say Ritter comes in first because I read that stretch for the Falcons. The Falcons are 0-6. I think.
Well, look at the Titans schedule.
But the Titans are a far better team than the Falcons. The Falcons are one of the worst teams in the league.
Titans also have an earlier bye week too, so both teams wait for their bye weeks. Willis gets in.
But the difference is that Desmond Ritter could run the exact same offense as Marcus Mariota without changing it. Yes, they're somewhat similar, but you would have to change the whole offense to put Malik Willis in over Ryan Tannehill. That's a completely different offense. You cannot just run the same thing. So it would need, it would have to be more. You couldn't just make that decision on the fly. Whereas Sam Howell could run the Carson Wentz experience. But Tennessee, next week is the Bills, which is not great. They could, and then the Raiders could be another, and then 2 games are against the Colts. It could be very bad. But then they have a stretch.
Did you see the middle?
Yeah, Chiefs, Broncos, Packers, Bengals. It could be very ugly. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But I do think the Falcons are, if I have to go top to bottom in terms of talent, the Falcons might be the worst team in the NFL.
I had a hot take on another podcast where we were doing predictions for this season, and my hot take was that the Titans are a dark horse team for the 101 and also would have a worse record than the Falcons.
The Falcons, I'm looking at the Falcons, and I'm not seeing the game that they're going to win.
They have the potential in a handful of games to win, I think, that are pretty close. They get the Jets. They get the Panthers twice.
Yeah.
But
the Falcons, the next 6 games are really ugly. There's the one at Seattle, but Seattle just beat Denver. Then there's the other ones are home against the Browns. Maybe they could win that one. But the other ones are at the Rams, at the Buccaneers, the 49ers, and then at the Bengals.
I just don't think the Titans are just going to be very good. I think Willis gets on the field early on.
Yeah.
Shane Manila pointed out, although J-Rob smashed, ETN had the value pass catching and goal line duties. There's still hope, basically. P.S. What's up, guys? I'll just say, in a game where the Jaguars trailed 14-3 at halftime, Travis Etienne got 4 touches total.
It was also his first
in the backfield, and then 2, so 6 touches total. In a game they were trailing as the pass.
The issue is, though, that this was his first NFL game. He could progress over time. It's not like Cam Akers, who has had lots of time and now is suddenly was the starter. Now seems like a backup. That seems like he's regressing. J.K. Dobbins, I'm more concerned about too, because J.K. Dobbins he said he was going to be healthy, and I remember what I said. I said if he delivers week 1, great. He shows up, great. I was wrong. He didn't deliver. He didn't show up. And now it sounds like it's going to be a long time. Just like I said, Lamar said we might have him. Not he's going to be here week 2. Maybe we'll have him in a couple of weeks. Maybe. I don't want to hear about maybe. Maybe doesn't work. So I'm not so concerned about Travis Etienne compared to some of the other concerns. He didn't look. David Montgomery, for example, is a 5-alarm fire. Josh Jacobs too was also not good.
Yep.
A lot of running backs were not good.
On this, I think we all say no. You say Brees over Barkley?
Yeah, Brees. Yeah, I'll take Brees. Yeah, Brees.
In Dynasty, yeah.
In Dynasty, yes, they'll take Brees.
My question was whether or not we would see Barkley, this version of Barkley. We saw that version of Barkley again, and
I still want Brees.
The problem is that he's 4 years older than Brees Hall.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley. It's great that we're seeing this version again, but
plus, if both of them simultaneously on the exact same minute of week 2 tear their ACL, whose value drops?
They both do, but Saquon's
whose value drops
more.
harder, and
Saquon
whose value
more.
recovers more?
Brees recovers more. Yeah.
There's your answer.
I'd like to see him beat out a 4th round running back first, but
Saquon for week 2, I have ranked at RB4. So
let's see. Oh, Henry forgot about us. Henry.
Henry.
Henry is already getting ahead of waivers. Like, he's been doing them all day. He's got 117 leagues. Like, it's okay, Henry. We understand.
Mm-hmm.
ETN did have targets, but still less expected points. It's a split. Just feels like we keep making reasons. Yes, agreed. Thank you, Peter.
He's played one game. This was game 1. What do you mean I don't keep making reasons. This is one game. Yes, I dropped him in my rankings. It's one game. Let's see what happens in the second
Tyler,
game.
You wouldn't make this excuse for anybody else. Why are you making it for ETN? Like, we haven't seen anything from him in the NFL. Nothing.
Same with Brees
Okay.
Hall.
Okay, that's fine. So no, that's fine. So if we had done the same thing, and I am making the same excuse for Brees Hall, by the way. So clearly I would. If we'd done the same thing with Jonathan Taylor or DeAndre Swift and just dismissed them because they had bad usage in their first few NFL games, would that have worked out for us, or would that have worked out poorly? Which one of those two?
So ETN is Jonathan Taylor now? I just don't think he is a pass.
So maybe he's not.
Back.
So, but what about DeAndre Swift though? Was DeAndre Swift a materially better prospect than Travis Etienne? No. Was he drafted in the first round? No. Like, I'm just saying, writing off Travis Etienne is not something I want to do yet after one game. I did lower him. I think that some of the ceiling is not where it was, but I have not. When we're talking about panic, he's last on my list of panic. I told you players I'm panicking on because it's been a long time with those players. Like, when we're talking about someone in year 4, like David Montgomery, or year 3 with J.K. Dobbins or Cam Akers, it's one thing. But this is even, let's say it's year 2 for him. I just wouldn't have the same level of concern, especially when he didn't look. Yeah, he dropped the one pass, but he did look good on his rushing touches. It's not like David Montgomery, who looked like crap, or J.K. Dobbins, who can't get on the field, or Cam Akers, who played nothing at all. Travis Etienne actually played on more snaps than James Robinson. So he was out there. And I would caution people against. I think Travis Etienne, of all the players we're talking about, is the buy low one that I would be interested in. He's the one where if you could pay, I don't know what would be reasonable, but like if I could send, say, AJ Dillon or Travis Etienne, I would still prefer to have Travis Etienne over AJ Dillon, for example, even though AJ Dillon did better this week. So something like that. I still would rather have Travis Etienne over Kenneth Walker, someone we didn't see, who might be coming back. That kind of thing. I just haven't completely ridden Travis Etienne off. That's all.
Damon was offered CD for my Saquon Win Now team. Did we do this one?
No, we didn't. We talked about this, but we didn't do it. Yeah. I would say if you're a Win Now team, I would just hang on to Saquon and try to win.
Yep. Especially when you have Chase and Pittman.
But if you're a rebuild team who's had Barkley the whole time, CeeDee Lamb is actually a player I would suggest.
Yes.
Really was encouraged. I guess the thing that's promising about Smitty, he says, was he played a lot of snaps, visibly wide open numerous times, got 4 targets. I'd take, but I still want him over Elijah Moore.
That's a very bad take. The problem is that with wide receivers, this is an Allen Robinson thing that I'm worried about. It's actually the same thing here. And it's worse with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't progress through his reads. He doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know how to do that. He's incapable of that. Actually, Jalen Hurts was not a better passer at all, actually. He actually was worse. The only thing that changed is that A.J. Brown appeared, and suddenly there was a receiver that was elite. Let's review. On the passes targeting A.J. Brown, 10 of 13 for 155 yards. That sounds pretty good, right? What about on the passes not targeting A.J. Brown? What about the ones where he targeted inferior players who aren't very good? On those passes, he was 8 of 19 for 88 yards. That is horrible. That's actually horrible. So he was only able to deliver the ball to an elite weapon. This is kind of what we said, right? What you said, both of you, that he would be a better passer with an elite receiver. Except He is. So we were both kind of right in a way. He was better when targeting that elite receiver, but has not actually improved overall in delivering the ball to all of his weapons. So honestly, we were all right. Like, I was right about AJ Brown being elite and still getting the weapons. You guys were right that he would continue to produce fantasy points and would be improved with the elite weapon. But I was sort of right that he really hasn't improved as an overall passer. The improvement solely comes from AJ Brown. But he was terrible targeting everyone else. I think that says something, that elite players might help you.
Crazy.
Yeah, right. Crazy that adding AJ Brown, but you just look at those numbers that I quoted. You can't argue with that. I mean, he was great targeting AJ Brown and terrible targeting everyone else.
Robert was offered Jamar Chase and Curtis Samuel for Trey Lance and Garrett Wilson in a 16-team Superflex PPR start 9 league. Already has Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence.
I'll take
Interesting. Oh, 16-team Superflex? Oh, Trey Lance easily then. 16-team Superflex is like quarterback value is like tripled. I'll take Trey Lance for sure.
Yep. I would need
I
more
just
than
really
Curtis
want
Samuel as the second piece on that.
I would as well.
I think that's the problem then.
16-team Superflex is just in a 16-team Superflex, I would say, I mean, is Trey Lance at the level where I'm still picking him over any positional player? 16-team Superflex is insane. I want to take a quarterback with, my first round is probably all quarterbacks or close to it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it
has to
if
be
Curtis Samuel was something better.
If Curtis Samuel were another quarterback, like if Curtis Samuel were like
Baker,
Ryan Tannehill, maybe I would consider it.
Peter, if you didn't catch it, it was absolute snark. He said,
I
wow,
love yeah, it certainly wasn't coming from me.
Sun Guy hate is real here. I don't like it. It was snark to say somehow like he still got targeted with them. Like, in other words, like people acted like the only reason why he ever got targets and produced is because TJ Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift weren't on the field. And I always thought that was garbage. So,
but he was even better than I think people expected, or I expected in week 1.
He was very good.
Jahan Dotson is something. I'm excited about him.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay, let's see. Are Irv and Brevin Jordan done for dynasty purposes? I mean, they weren't ranked very high as it was, but I thought they were two very young tight ends who could break out, work their way into that tier 2 or 3.
Brevin's done. Yeah, he played behind. Like, he's healthy. He should have been ready to go. He played behind Pharaoh Brown. So, yeah, Brevin is just finished to me. Irv barely played.
I think that's more injury because he got injured in training camp too, on top of coming back from the ACL.
I know, it's just been, or meniscus. It was.
Yeah, whatever. The knee.
But Irv, let's see. I'm not giving up on Irv. Tight ends can take. I mean, how often do we see a tight end break out at 26? I mean, Irv just turned 24. I really don't want to just write Irv off, but
no.
The days where Irv had like real value is over. Irv is a stash at this point, like a stash and hope. He's no longer even worth a second.
Yep.
He's worth less than that.
But you can't drop him. You can drop.
No,
Brevin.
you can drop Brevin. If you have to drop Brevin Jordan, you can. Irv, I would say you cannot drop.
Just smooth.
Look good. Look good. You look good. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't sell Dotson. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
If you can get a first, I'll still sell.
If you can get a first,
but it's going to need to be a first at this point.
Sure. I don't know that anybody's giving it a first, I guess.
I think some people might, but it'll have to be a first.
Would you trade DK for Lamb?
I would. I still take Lamb because, I mean, I was not impressed with anything that I saw from DK at all. I mean, the Geno Smith offense is not going to deliver for him.
Saquon, Peter Howard jumps in. Hot take. Saquon goes for 33 points, and still the team level remains low. Sheesh. Let's see. Offered Samuel for Kine Nwangu and Jordan Mason before the game, and the other guy accepted after his big game.
Make sure to cancel your trade offers.
Put a timer on him if you can.
Yeah, but if I had to, it's interesting because Jordan Mason gained a good amount of value in that game also. Probably take Samuel.
24-second or Geno Smith in a 12-team Superflex?
24-second.
Easily.
Geno Smith still doesn't have any real value to me.
Right. Super chat.
Super chat.
23 first for ETN and a 10-team Superflex. I don't know what that means. Dynasty, PPR. Concern J-Rob builds up touches over time. Yeah, and I would take the 23 first. But I probably was still taking the 23 first even before the season kicked off.
Agreed.
So, but I'll definitely take the 23 first now. Yep. Especially in a 10-team.
Yep.
Who are we buying low on? Anybody jump out?
There are some players I've lowered, but not that much. Devonta Smith is actually, funnily enough, one of them. So he's someone I would consider if the price. George Pickens, if people were just like, he didn't deliver week 1, I'm out. Like I still believe. George Pickens would be one that I would consider. Darnell Mooney. But see, I don't really want Darnell Mooney though. Like Darnell Mooney's not a 1 or anything. So kind of like, I'm not sure I'm really so excited by him.
What about Ramondre?
No.
What about Kadarius Toney?
No, thank you. I think I'd rather not.
I'd pay a second.
Brian Robinson.
I feel like people are holding. I'm not sure.
I know, but I would still. Yeah, I'd consider Trey McBride. We mentioned earlier.
Like it.
Elijah
Moore?
I
would try to buy. I was literally about to say Elijah Moore. I would try.
Garrett Wilson too, actually.
Yeah, because he also looked good.
It's so weird because I really love what I saw from Garrett Wilson in week 1. Elijah Moore also looked good, but it's so tough with the quarterback issue there. Also, Robert Saleh is losing my confidence as a head coach very quickly. Focusing on keeping receipts from the doubters in the media is not what he should be focused on as a head coach. Your team is losing. How about focus on winning? How about focus on winning some games instead of focusing on, which media member slighted you?
Chad Booth traded Pickett for last year's champs 23 first, and his team consists of 3 of the injuries.
Here's what's the Jets
love this
coming up are at the Browns, which maybe they can win that one.
Schedule is
but then the Bengals, horrible. At the Steelers, Dolphins, at the Packers, and at the Broncos.
Horrible.
And then they have that doesn't even include the 2 games later in the year that they have against the Bills.
So lots of pass attempts is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think they'll be playing from behind.
Let's see. Oh yeah,
yes, 23 first over Pickett.
Yes.
Well, and also a really good point. All of a sudden, took some injuries and doesn't look like it's going to be a late first anymore. That's why we can't just assume those first are late or early or whatever. These things change. Should I drop Tony for J-Rob, Henderson, or Landry?
I mean, this has to be a redraft.
Yeah.
If you have to, I will take Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. Yeah,
all the above, Jimbo Fisher.
I agree. Henderson, J-Rob, Landry, my order.
In that order, yeah, for sure. It's not even close.
Let us know if you are the real Jimbo Fisher, please.
You can't be.
Grant G, 12 teams, Superflex, PPR. Give 23 first, projected mid currently. And Ayuk, get CeeDee.
Yeah, I think I really don't want to give up 23 firsts in Superflex. I guess I would, but I'm not like super excited over it.
That mid 23 first is probably going to end up being like Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, I know. So it's not that exciting.
No, not at all.
I guess I would, but yuck.
I don't know.
Oh, wait. Yeah, here we go. Trade Zeke for Dameon Pierce and a 23 second. Addison?
Yes. Because of
I'll take Pearson at 23 second.
Because of the second.
Confirm.
Unfortunately, I feel like even if Zeke has anything left, it's all going to be gone by the time Dak gets back. So.
2 out of 3 in PPR. Start sit question coming in early. Sutton, Mike Thomas, and Deontay. 2 out of 3.
I'll go with Deontay
Sutton
and Sutton.
Thomas.
Ooh. T-Law and Fields show enough yet to be considered QBs to rebuild around a dynasty. If you were in a 2 to 3 year Superflex rebuild, would you feel good with those two being your starting QBs of the future?
No. No.
I think
They
they
look
showed
terrible.
enough. I think they showed enough that I'm not asking this question. I'm not asking this question right now.
They looked terrible.
I need to see a couple more weeks.
Both of them.
I don't care about that. The again, watch my video tomorrow, but Justin Fields' game was whatever.
Trey
T-Law,
Lance,
the benefit
Trey
for
Lance
sure-
was way worse than Justin Fields in that game.
That's true. The benefit for T-Law is he almost threw for 300 yards. He looked like a rookie still. And I think that's just growing pains. But
Trevor Lawrence would be the best prospect like ever to fail just because he couldn't do it on the field, not for an off-field reason or an injury. Like he would be one of the best prospects ever to just fail. So I would be stunned if that happened, but he didn't look good. Again.
All right, Dak. He has Geno, dropped Mac, not using waiver priority on Wentz, but going to wake up early and hope he's there. Two teams, two teams have a bunch of quarterbacks. Look like I guess you have to, but like over the long term, am I 100% sure that Wentz is better than Geno? I don't know.
Wentz is better than Geno.
Wentz is better than Geno.
Matchups have so much to do with this stuff.
Wentz is better than Geno.
I'm not convinced Wentz is anything more than like just took advantage of a bad defense.
Well, he's got a lot more bad defenses ahead of him. So
Yeah, that's true.
Oh,
his schedule is really soft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Titans, Bears, Packers. Nothing I'm scared of in there.
Didn't do much after the first half, though.
This is a 1 QB. I'm not going out and trading for a quarterback.
Let's see. I might be wrong about that first half thing.
Yeah, because the big 90-yard
It was
touchdown
fourth
drive
quarter, yeah. Okay.
was
So yeah.
near the end of the game.
Fourth quarter, he looked pretty good, I guess. There we go. Lamb or Higgins?
Higgins.
Higgins. Tannehill will be the Tampa QB. There we go.
That's possible.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too when I saw that.
Tampa
Bay.
I lost Dak in a deep roster, 12 team Superflex. Would it be worth trading away Jerry Jeudy for Baker Mayfield and Tony?
No.
Nope. Don't do that.
No.
Also traded JJ, Baker, and Hunt for Kyler, Henry, Sutton in a 12-team Superflex. Loved it at the time, but lost every position of that trade in week 1. Gotta love
It's
fantasy.
fine. You did the right thing.
I just wouldn't worry about week 1.
Yeah. Let's see what happens in week 2.
Yeah. I just wouldn't overreact to.
Yeah. Let's see what happens in week 2.
That's why we play Dynasty. What type of players do you look for in a 2 QB league to move from a QB like Trey Lance? Got offered Jamar Chase. Oh, that's
the same question. Yeah.
Just worded differently, I guess.
Yeah.
Press the like button, says Chad Booth.
Press the like button.
3-2. Oh my goodness. How are we still so far behind? You guys are great. 12-team Dynasty PPR start 11. Okay. He has, here we go. Get ready. Brees, Kamara, Aaron Jones, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Elijah Mitchell, Zeke, Pacheco. Need a package for a stud wide receiver. Have London, Moore, Nico, Mike Thomas now. Thanks.
You're not doing that bad at wide receiver. London looks like he's going to be usable this year.
Could be.
I don't think you're in that bad shape.
Can you package
And you can get rid of Aaron
Jones and CEH and get what was I looking at?
Hollywood Brown.
Eh,
You probably get more than that, actually.
I was gonna say, like, I went right up to
DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's where I was looking at.
Yeah. Try
Could
to
you
do
get
something like that.
DK? Do you think you could swing Pittman? Could you get Lamb?
No.
That's the one I thought about too. But to me, I think it's like, I think you got to go. Mike
you get
Thomas
Waddle?
is the one. I think Mike Thomas and Aaron Jones, package them together would be my ideal.
Well, yeah, get rid of the old guys.
Could you get a Monra? Could you get a Monra for that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you
I would
can.
love that, but I'm not sure you can.
I think you can. You have pieces here to make this deal work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you also have Zeke down there too? Dude, send like 3 of these running backs for Michael Pittman and be done with it.
There we go. Hater Maker. 12 teams, Superflex, 2 tight end, full PPR, trade Lamb and Dak for Mike Thomas, Pacheco, Nico Collins, and a 23 mid-third.
No.
Definitely
Read
not.
this trade again. No, this is one of the worst trades I've ever seen.
Would you trade Darrell Henderson for Allen Robinson and a half-point PPR?
Oh, man. Well, in Dynasty, I mean, I think I
In
would.
redraft, no.
I think in redraft, I still would. I feel like I'm more confident, as weird as this is, in Allen Robinson coming back than Darrell Henderson retaining the job.
I would take A-Rob in Dynasty for sure. I don't know about redraft. I might just play it out in redraft because A-Rob is kind of replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know. I mean, A-Rob could still be good. Maybe it was just Buffalo.
Kevin says start Cordell Patterson or Zeke this week.
Patterson.
Don't start Zeke ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Would you trade for Akers if all it takes is A-Rob or Robert Woods? What?
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
Oh, my God. James Johnson. I have Mike Thomas, Juju, Nico Collins, and Isaiah McKenzie at wide receiver. There's a period after the I right there, which was weird, and I thought he was just and I was like, oh. Should I trade Terry McLaurin to get Kittle or Waller as my tight end?
I mean, Kittle scares me.
I would trade McLaurin for Kittle.
Yeah. Is this what? Dynasty? Can't tell.
He says, do I go get AJ Brown for the stack with Jalen Hurts? I mean, like,
I'd love to get AJ Brown.
Yes,
that would
but
be
you don't have the firepower with this.
No, you don't have
here.
that.
No, you don't have it.
This team looks like a rebuild. If this is
Or a bad redraft.
Yeah.
Addison wants Waddle over AJ Brown.
Ooh.
Does he?
Sheesh.
I think he wants AJ Brown.
All the AJ Brown.
Thoughts on Kyle Phillips going forward? PPR Dynasty. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I like him too.
Listen, this is like completely irrational, but like if you look really good on a PPR on a punt return, I'm gonna get like a little more excited. Like, get the ball in your hands, look good when you're doing it. Like, set things up on a punt return. I think you have what it takes to make things happen. So
Yeah, I'm excited by Kyle Phillips for sure.
If he's on your waiver wire, he's a 100%er.
He shouldn't.
Yes.
I've been saying add him for weeks.
I'm just saying, if he's still there, 100%.
Yeah.
9 targets in week 1. No excuses needed for Mr. Phillips here on, it's my first week.
Jesus.
Damian Westlake, 12 teams. Superflex, half PPR, got offered Allen Robinson for Darrell Henderson.
Is this the same question from a different person? I think this might be this. Oh, no, it's not. Same question from the same person. Yeah, take Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
Okay. Not sure how I feel about ETN after a strong week from Robinson. I'm not alone. There are more like me. Also, was it mostly weather hurting Debo and San Fran?
Yeah, we talked about ETN, I feel like, enough at this point.
Yeah. And it was weather hurting them.
Did the weather make Trey Lance look at Juwan Jennings for 5 seconds and then throw directly to a defender? The rain caused his brain to not be able to function correctly? Do you think so?
Yeah,
I don't think
know about
so.
all that, but
that was really bad. Go watch that play again. He's staring at Juwan Jennings, and you can't do that in the NFL.
Debo had a good fantasy day?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because he had it all on the ground.
And he's probably going to contribute more as a running back now, right?
He did
Like
have
I think
8 targets.
I was gonna
But
say
he only caught
like,
2 of them.
the touchdown saved him, sure, but like he had 8 targets and 8 rush attempts.
Yeah, I'm not really very concerned with Debo yet, but I am worried that this was without Kittle and Ayuk didn't really get involved very much. So
Nobody got involved.
yeah,
I'm
I
throwing out this
know.
entire game. I don't care.
I'm less concerned about the receivers like versus each other who got targets because the pie was so small. And the whole thing was kind of a mess. But I will say that Trey Lance's processing ability is a zero. It's absolutely horrible. It's absolutely horrible and is not at the level of a college quarterback in some ways, let alone an NFL starter. He needs to get a lot better. That won't fly.
It makes sense that he wasn't.
It
really
won't
a
fly.
college quarterback, so
It won't fly. If that's how he's going to play, it won't fly in the NFL. It has to improve. Cannot play that way. Justin Fields too. Not good. It needs to improve processing and mental wise. They need to make better decisions. That interception that Lance threw is one of the worst decision-making processes I've seen from a quarterback in a long time. He has to get better.
12 teams, Superflex, PPR, DJ Moore, or Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. Oh, wait.
You mean
Give up DJ Moore. Would you? Okay, here we go.
Right.
DJ Moore
I'd rather-
or Elijah Moore. This is worded
I'd
weird.
rather have Elijah Moore, and I would take Elijah Moore with Pierce over DJ.
I agree.
Let's see. Trade away
DJ Moore and
Davis
Elijah
for
back-to-back.
Burks last week. That's pretty good.
I'm feeling less good about it, but I'll still take Burks.
I'd still take Burks too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts on Kamara after Latavius news?
Is Latavius the practice squad? I don't care.
Is this
about.
2018?
Yeah, it's Kamara's fine until I hear otherwise.
Should I drop Michael Gallup or Devontae Parker for Jeff Wilson? Yes.
Yes, I would. They can both go. I'd let Michael Gallup go. I think just because
Gallup's who I'd go.
with
Yeah.
Dak on. Who cares?
Mhm. Bateman or Kittle in Dynasty?
If it's
take
tight
Kittle.
end premium, I'll take Kittle. If it's not, I'll take Bateman.
I was gonna say we
I'll take Kittle and all.
probably need the settings there in your league, but I still think it's Kittle.
Kittle.
Njoku, Alberto, Tunyon, Everett, rest of the season. Put them in order. Who you like best to worst? Addison,
Rest
go.
of the season: Alberto, Everett, Njoku, Tunyon.
Everett,
Okay, now
Alberto,
you, Tyler.
Tunyon, and Joku.
KB, if
Tunyon
you're-
was barely out there. Tunyon barely played, so he's not in consideration for me.
if you're a contender, would you sell Pittman high?
No,
No,
I don't know why I would do that.
Don't do this.
he's not somebody I want to sell.
I just can't imagine how it would be any fun to trade him away right now.
No.
I'd have to be blown away. Like I would just not want to get him off my roster at all. We did this.
Answer
We did
that.
this. 12
Ask it
team.
once.
Superflex, Hall and London, or AJ Brown and Mixon. Whoa.
Mm.
AJ Brown and Mixon.
AJ Brown and Mixon.
Yep. I'm with you.
Even though that's the older side, still take that side. It's worth more.
This was probably about me, but it is she.
No, I
that
think this
was-
was
was Smith over Elijah Moore.
yeah, which is a bad take.
Oh.
Oh,
What do you guys think about Dennis Johnson? I have him in a deep league and don't know how to hold or pick up someone for the waiver wire. He was inactive. No, drop him.
Yeah.
Fine,
drop
redraft
him.
drop him. I'm keeping him in Dynasty.
I guess. I don't know.
You gotta hope he's traded or there's an injury though.
Do you approach the waiver wire differently if you're rebuilding versus contending? For instance, what kind of value do you place on someone like Dortch?
No difference. You just
Nope.
try to get the best players. Dortch, no real bid. I mean, I'll bid one or so. Yeah.
I like Dortch.
I don't dislike
He's
him,
a 10
but
percenter.
No. I don't want him at all.
I don't, but like I am almost like if I, for instance, get Jeff Wilson on a team where I'm rebuilding somehow, like I am definitely looking to
He's
trade him
immediately flipped.
Yeah,
Yep.
immediately flip.
That's the main difference for how you approach the waiver wire is when you're rebuilding, you want the best players off the waiver wire in order to flip them for an
Yeah.
actual asset. Whereas if you're contending,
Mhm.
it's still the same thing. Like if you're contending and you can get Jeff Wilson and trade him for a second, then that's good. But you could also use Jeff Wilson if you're contending, if you needed to. That's the difference. But still pick up everybody.
Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt for Devonta Parker or Devontae Adams. I'm
Devontae
thinking
Adams.
Adams.
Tyreek Hill.
Don't do it for Parker.
Hill and
Definitely
Hunt for
not.
me.
What about Devontae Booker? Or would it be Devonta Smith?
I'll take Hill and Hunt.
Hill and Hunt.
I'll take Hill and Hunt.
Jeff Wilson, Debo Samuel, and Jalen Warren, or Malik Willis.
Debo Samuel. Curtis
Whoa.
Samuel.
This is
We're
great.
gonna need first and last names here, guys. We're gonna need
that
Sorry.
would be very nice.
At least an initial,
Much
maybe.
appreciated.
First and last names at 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade Malik Willis for.
No, this is Malik Willis
No.
for a bunch of crap, so I'll take Malik Willis.
Exactly. I agree.
Buy low and Elijah Moore.
Absolutely.
Robert Woods
Yes.
for Drake London and redraft.
Yeah, I'll
London.
take Drake London. Drake London looked great, and he has the potential to actually rise a lot higher. And this week, I have Drake London higher. I have Drake London at 31 and Robert Woods at 43. So I would rather have Drake London this week.
We have talked about these guys a little bit, but I think that is a fun way to do it. Level 1 to 10 panic level. And these guys, Travis Etienne,
5.
0.
8. I'm definitely not in. Tony,
7.
10.
4. There's nobody good besides Saquon in that. Giants
Well, Richie
offense.
James apparently was better in their
And
opinion.
Tony looked good when he had the ball in his one touch.
In their opinion, Richie James was better, and Kenny Golladay was also better,
And we're
I don't
forgetting
understand.
about Wandale.
and Sterling Shepard. All
Yeah,
of whom
Shepard
apparently they
Shepard,
preferred.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb,
3.
3. And if it's Dynasty, 3.
If it's
Redraft.
Dynasty, it's
If
probably
it's redraft, 8.
For sure.
Yeah.
2, 3. Justin Jefferson and Kareem Hunt for Pittman and Najee. Full PPR redraft. Who wins? Justin Jefferson by a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
3,000 yards is a lot of fantasy
Yeah.
points.
I think I'm gonna have to take that side. Kareem Hunt also looks a lot better than I thought he would.
Let's see. 12 team contender Lamar. Let's see. Okay, wait. Give Dobbins, Bateman, and maybe Devontae Henderson and Alberto. Get Andrew
Henderson.
Every Henderson.
Devery Henderson. This is getting
Derrick Henry, I guess.
I was gonna
is
say,
what-
is this Hunter Henry or Derrick Henry? I hope it's Derrick
if
Henry.
it's Derrick Henry, I'll take that side.
I'll take that side
you guys are killing us with not giving us first.
Come
and
on, guys. Last names,
Initials.
please.
Come on.
first.
I'm just gonna assume it's whatever the worst, least valuable.
Yeah.
Hines Ward or
No.
Khalil
Or
Herbert.
Khalil Herbert. I'll
Khalil
take
Herbert
Hines
over Naeem Hines. I do think Khalil Herbert could be taking over that job. I'll take Khalil Herbert.
This is my favorite
Hines, ketchup, or
show.
Justin Herbert.
Naeem Hines or Khalil Herbert. I'm assuming is what this actually is.
Yes, it's Khalil
It's
Herbert.
Herbert.
Khalil looked good. I love to see it. Drop McKissick or Raheem Mostert for a Jeff Wilson claim.
Honestly, McKissick lost his job to Curtis Samuel.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
But
Good.
you
it.
I do. But would I drop Mostert instead? I'd drop both of them, either of them. I think I'd still hold on in redraft. I'd hold on to McKissick and let Mostert go because Mostert did nothing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Michael Thomas back? Is he legit again? 10 team PPR. Start Ayuk again or trade him for MT.
In a
Is he
redraft,
back?
I'll stick with MT. But I'm
Yeah,
not
and-
fully convinced he's back. It's not like he had a target hog share. And for this week, I still only have him at wide receiver 22. I need to see a couple more weeks before I'm fully convinced that we're at superstar Michael Thomas and not just good Michael Thomas. But I have him ranked for the week. Last week, I had him at wide receiver 26 or 27. 7.
Oh, he said it's Dynasty.
In that
I'll take
case,
Ayuk in Dynasty.
I'll lean Ayuk, but it is still even close.
Absolutely, Ayuk, not close to me. Like that's he caught
The
his.
Saints
He had
fan.
3 catches going into the fourth quarter. Like this is I just think this is one of those where.
But then he had like 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
2.
So,
But look, there's not many teams that are going to get up and lose 28-3 the same way the Falcons keep doing it over and over again. Even though that wasn't the score, it's a new one that is as bad. I just think this is this is the sell window. This is what you were hoping for.
I agree with that.
You held
but
on to him. This is what you were hoping for.
yep.
Go get Ayuk. Go get somebody like that.
I think there's a universe where Michael Thomas is a wide receiver 1 the rest of the way this season.
I think
no
so.
Chance. No chance. Prioritize my waivers, please. This is the order I have it. Jalen Warren, Taysom Hill, yes sir. Kyle Phillips, Pittsburgh, Rex Burkhead. Any changes? Gotta be redraft, right? Gotta be redraft.
I'm thinking this
No,
is a redraft.
it can't be. I mean, I guess it could
Dynasty,
be.
then it's Phillips.
If it's
I'd
Dynasty,
rather have
Phillips is
Warren.
first. I want
Warren
Phillips.
and then Warren and then Phillips. No.
Yeah, because we could find out on Thursday, Najee Harris will miss 4 weeks, and then
That's fine. You're
Whereas
not
nothing's
starting
going to
Jalen
happen
Warren
to
anyway.
raise Kyle Phillips' value.
Right.
You're not even starting Jalen Warren, even if Najee's out.
Oh yeah, I think yes, you are.
I'd rather start Jeff Wilson.
We saw that. I'm not sure about that. We saw that if Najee Harris is out, Jalen Warren gets everything.
Oh no, I 100% agree with that.
But
I
like,
just think that you saw what Najee did.
right.
I
Jalen Warren
understand.
is way worse than Najee.
I
Mhm.
understand, but not every not every matchup is terrible.
Well, sure, but then they get the Patriots defense.
Yeah, this week is not.
I don't
great.
want 13 carries for 30.
You know what we
yards and
say
2
about bottom of
catches.
the roster. Bottom of the roster, we usually want to go with running backs.
Kyle
That's
Phillips
true.
doesn't need excuses to get 9
I
targets.
just would
Yeah.
prefer Kyle
Okay.
Phillips.
But I like Taysom Hill and tight ends getting red zone carries. Yes, please.
Taysom Hill's got to play a few more snaps before I want to add him.
Do you want Taysom Hill or Irv Smith in Dynasty
Irv
at
Smith.
tight end?
Taysom. Give me Taysom.
Crazy. Irv Smith.
He's
The
gonna
tight
score
end you
points.
want in New Orleans is Juwan Johnson.
He said his Dynasty 10 team. Does that care? Does that matter?
No.
I want
Makes no
Kyle
difference.
Phillips.
I want Phillips. And then Warren. Like, I think they're close-ish.
Yeah. Phillips won.
12 teams who flex. Give Watson, get Carr. I'm assuming this is David Carr. AJ
Yeah, it
Dillon.
must be David Carr.
Who's the Dillon?
I don't know. Why don't we just try to
Schwab?
answer the actual question?
23 first.
I'll take Carr.
Carr.
Curtis Samuel or Marquise Callaway?
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Marquez Valdez-Scantling actually got himself involved.
He had
I
4
think-
targets.
Is there a way that like people have now conspired in the chat to like make sure they give us
I
the
know,
least
it does
amount
feel
of
that way.
name information possible? Because I've never had this problem before.
I'm going to lean toward Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Corey Dillon.
Corey
Marcus-
Dillon. That's what I was trying to think of. Yes.
I'll lean toward Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but it's close.
It's very close.
Curtis Samuel's probably is too low in my rankings, but I just don't buy it. I think it was just one game.
Yeah,
If it's another game, it's the same usage, then I'll agree.
then Curtis.
But I'll go with Valdez-Scantling.
He's still just 26, guys. Like
Yeah, it's not all about the age. I just think that Valdez-Scantling, they said that the Chiefs wide receiver thing could be like a committee. I do think there is a universe in which next week Marquez Valdez-Scantling has 150 yards.
dig straight up for CD to a contender team.
A contender, I'd take Diggs. If you're rebuilding,
Yeah.
I'll take Lamb.
Yep.
I
There's
think
your
he
answer.
gave it a B, so I'll give it a B as well.
Okay.
Contending, tons of depth, 10 teams, Superflex, start 10. What's Hindo's value?
It's nowhere near either of those things. So I would just take the 24 first and run.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great sell window for Hindo. Start MT or Hollywood.
So I have Hollywood at wide receiver 12 this week. I'm going back to him one more time against Vegas. Hollywood.
Dynasty 12 team, start 10. Happy PR just traded Thomas for McLaurin in a 23 third. Yes.
Love it.
McLaurin's worth more, so I'll
Love it.
Love it.
Third's on the wrong side.
Devontae Adams, Travis Etienne, 23 third, 4, DeAndre Swift and Jerry Jeudy.
Swift and Judy.
Oh,
DeAndre Swift looked great. DeAndre Swift looked great. Swift and Judy. I'm going to take Swift and Judy.
We did this one. Oh, you're still hurting over this one?
No, I don't really think it's that. I mean, I think Swift is much farther away from Adams than Etienne is to Judy.
Yep.
So I'll take it's pretty easy. Swift and Judy.
Lance or Hollywood at Superflex?
Lance easily. Yeah, it's not close.
I assume that's Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it must be.
Putting in the late hours, says Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, if we did, we'd still are an hour and 15 minutes short of our show yesterday.
You're an hour and a half short of what this show used to be.
We're going to be.
Well, this show used to be 4 hours every week. The people, I don't know if the people remember the early days, but it was 4 hours every single week. We would go the full 4 hours.
I would not be here.
We would have killed you.
Wow. So redraft, got to be redraft. Darrell Henderson, Trey Lance, Jeff Wilson, Kirk Cousins. How would you prioritize these claims?
Well, if you need a quarterback for this week, Kirk Cousins is top of my list. I have him at quarterback 9, Lance at 13. And then in terms of running backs, I would have Henderson over Wilson. And then it's just a question of how you mix those. I mean, Henderson, I feel like is the top priority because there's a world where he's just a starter now. And this week is against Atlanta.
Yep. I would do Henderson, Cousins, Lance, Wilson.
I'm not fully confident in Henderson. That's why I only have him at 23 for the week, just because I do think there's a world in which Akers is the starter again. And I'm concerned about ranking Henderson at 15 because then if he's nothing, then a rank at 15 is really scary.
Jeff Wilson and Curtis Samuel or early 23 second.
This is the kind of deal you want to do.
This is what you do right here.
Yeah. Well, combining them is a good idea. Like we said, with combining one with a third for a second, this is another way to combine them.
Add Kyle Phillips in redraft, PPR, absolutely.
In redraft, I would say in most formats, no. In most formats, no. In redraft, but
yeah,
if
it's hard.
In Scott Fishbowl, he's on my waivers currently. I have him added, but my team is
wait a second. Is he really?
Yeah, I gotta go check that. Corey did. PPR, yes. 9 targets first game. No excuses.
Yeah, but I didn't even rank Kyle. So I ranked 73 wide receivers for week.
Get him in there.
2, and I did
Get
not.
Him in your rankings.
You want to play him against this week coming up is Buffalo. You want to play him? I can't. I can't play him. I have Treylon Burks at 54. I don't.
Who wins Offensive Rookie of the Year this season?
Jahan Dotson.
No one.
Jahan Dotson. That's my answer.
I really hope that it's Jahan Dotson. That would be
no. If you want my real answer, it's Drake London. Drake London. I think Drake London is the only rookie who's going to have a consistent role all year.
Kyle Phillips is on my Scott Fishbowl waivers.
I think he's on everyone's waivers because he hadn't really done anything, and he's a 5th round pick.
Who do I drop?
Burks or Brees?
Burks. No, Brees. Jeez, I'm tired. Although I will say, for this week, I would consider playing.
I was gonna say I would start Burks over Brees if this is a start sit. If it is a trade,
do you really want to play Burks at Buffalo or Brees? It's both bad.
They're both bad.
I think I go with Brees even this week. I have Brees at running back 33 though. It's not good. Burks at wide receiver 54.
Rojo loves what he's seeing from Dotson.
Me too, but I loved what he was doing in the preseason.
3.
And I've raised him in my rankings, but I need to see more than one game to put him in stud level because I didn't think he was a stud level prospect at all. So I need to see a little more in the NFL. Someone when Drake London comes out and he's good, I'm like, well, he was supposed to be good. So I just believe it immediately. He's good. Yep. He's doing what I'm supposed to. Jahan Dotson, not so much. It's like, okay, maybe I'm on the fence. So I need to see more than one game to say he's going to be good.
But one game's plenty for Travis Etienne.
No, but that's why I haven't written him off for being bad for one game.
I actually don't think this is even for Jahan Dotson, 3 catches, 40 yards. Obviously, he got the 2 touchdowns. This isn't even showcasing his best assets. He's going to get deep and hit a lot of passes that way. And Like this isn't even best version of Jahan Dotson that we're getting.
Right.
So
You see, it's not necessarily the production. It's that he was the wide receiver 2 in snaps. I mean, he played one fewer snap than McLaurin. So he was out there as a complete starter in 2 wide receiver sets. He was their second weapon. And then he was out there for snaps and produced 2 touchdowns, including a really nice catch on the targets he had. So he had snaps and then actually in those snaps produced something. So when you put those 2 things together, that sounds like a very good debut.
Should I trade? Oh wait, where did Dotson go to school? I forget. Addison.
Same place as Mike Gesicki.
Pennsylvania State University. A lot of people around here say that Jahan Dotson is the best wide receiver in Penn State history, like for the school.
Maybe for the school, but you know.
Yeah, but which I
who
think
was it before that? Pat Farner?
Allen Robinson?
There's a lot of guys like from the 80s and 90s and stuff as well.
Allen
too.
Robinson.
Some people put up records in the early 2000s. A-Rob was insane that one year with Hackenberg before he declared. Godwin had a year as well with McSorley. But Dotson was crazy. He was so good.
KJ Hamler sucked, and we know it.
KJ Hamler was really good at Penn State.
KJ Hamler said he taught Jahan Dotson everything he knows.
Well, clearly Jahan Dotson took some other classes.
Daryl Henderson for KJ. That's your best line in the history of the show, right there, Tyler. Ever.
Thank you.
Daryl Henderson for
start
KJ
doing stand-up
Osborne
comedy.
and Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, in Dynasty, I would.
Yeah,
I haven't
in
given up on
Dynasty.
Pierce. I'll have to take the Pierce side. I do think, again, that's why I'm skeptical on Daryl Henderson even for week 2. I do think there's like a 40% chance we come out and Cam Akers as the starter.
If I have Wilson in, this could be any Wilson. There's like 17,000 of
Wilson.
them.
Let's be a little more specific.
If you have Russell Wilson in a 10-man PPR
Mason.
Dynasty,
That
would you
could
go
be a
after
first
Mason
name or a
Rudolph?
last name. I don't even know if Mason is a first name or a last name.
Okay, so this is it's Jeff Wilson, but don't make us work this
And
hard.
Jordan
If I have Jeff
Mason, yeah, but
Wilson-
make it easy on us, please.
We've been going for 2.5 hours. Come on, guys, give us a break. If I have Jeff Wilson in 10-man full PPR Dynasty, should I bother going after Mason?
Yes, Jordan Mason, he's a running back who has a reasonable path to touches. Yes, he should be added in a Dynasty league.
Yeah.
You add
But
running backs who have a path to touches in Dynasty. That's how you play the game.
I agree that Debo is the one that's going to benefit.
I agree with that as well. But I do think that Jordan Mason should be rostered because that's how you play. You add these running backs. And then if he doesn't do anything, you move on to a different one.
Dynasty 12 teams, Superflex, Happy PR trying to trade Jeff Wilson.
At least we got an initial.
Rashad White. I love it.
Yes. Rashad White. Yes. Rashad White over Jeff Wilson easily.
Do
I'd
that.
add a second to Jeff Wilson to get Rashad White.
So would I.
Mark, you guys are troopers. Can't believe you're going late to the dance. Looking forward to rewind this bad boy. Happy Taco Tuesday. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Najee and Pittman for Jefferson. Redraft PPR.
Now we're giving up a running back 1 and a wide receiver 1 for a play. I don't think in redraft I can afford to give that up for one player.
I think it's Najee and Pittman.
It's Najee and Pittman.
It's Jefferson for me.
Not in redraft. I mean, in redraft, if you think about it, right? If you did a redrafting today, this is probably the first overall pick for like an early second and a late second. And I feel like you take the early second and a late second every time.
This also could be a hobbled Najee all season in your lineup.
I know.
But I think the value is still there. Like I would try
there.
Like it was
you could
Saquon
trade
last
Najee
year.
or something.
Saquon last year would have been the Najee right now, right?
Man, that's
I don't
a really
think that's
good
the case.
example.
I don't think that's the case here. I don't think Najee's hurt that badly.
I think it's a problem. I think it's going to be a problem.
Well, let's see.
Me too.
I would still take that side. Also,
he
I think
called it
Pittman,
a Liz Frank. He called it a Liz Frank
Yes.
that he
I
had in
know, but
August,
running
and
backs
then
are
he
so hard to find.
re-aggravated it again.
running backs are so hard to find, and Pittman is not exactly a slouch.
12 teams, Superflex, 1 PPR, start 9. Start 2, Hunt, Etienne, Elijah Moore.
So this is a start sit.
Hunt
let's
and
see.
Moore.
I agree.
Yeah, Hunt and Moore.
Hunt and Moore.
I have
until
Hunt
we
at
see
running
ETN.
back 17 and Moore at wide receiver 30. I have ETN all the way down at running back 31.
Unfortunately, Keenan Allen is hurt, so I'm stuck with Deontay Johnson, Michael Thomas, and Hollywood, and Trey Lance to put in the Superflex. Who would you guys put wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and in the Superflex spot? Lance definitely in there.
Yeah, Lance in the
Yep,
super
and
flex, and
Hollywood
then
is
I'd go with
definitely
Hollywood
one.
and Johnson. I need one more week from Thomas.
I think that's it.
Okay.
It.
First
Also,
live.
Johnson looked great. And you see that catch he made? That was almost, it just wasn't in the end zone, but it was just as good as Jamar
Yeah,
Chase.
it was fantastic.
And he actually got the feet in.
Glad to have you, SVGE Germ.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thoughts on Zacchaeus Malik Moss?
There's no way that's his name. Is that his
It
name?
is.
His
I
name
hope
is
it is.
Zacchaeus.
You want my thoughts on Zach Moss?
6 targets, Zach Moss.
Tells you how bad James Cook must be.
Do you know what Debo Samuel's name is?
It's Tyshawn something.
Raekwon.
Oh, Raekwon.
Wow.
Raekwon Samuel.
If anybody doesn't know Amonra, go look up his name because that's the one. Him and all of his brothers. That's
My
the
thoughts
fun
on
one.
Zach Moss is I guess I would. I mean, he's a running back. I guess I would roster him, but like
In Dynasty, my confidence went up in him being a usable asset on my team.
oh, he's not going to be a usable asset.
Well, I just like if Singletary were to go down,
I agree.
I would feel
no,
okay starting him.
Where
Absolutely.
I've come back to is the thought that I had before, which is that unless there's only one guy left, you're not going to be able to use any of them. That's what I thought before. And now I think that's where we are. Unless there's only one guy standing, you won't be able to use any of them. You
I'd
won't be
still
able
do
to
it with
trust
you.
them.
I'd still do it.
You couldn't. You haven't been able to in the Josh Allen era. The only time you could use them were the 2 times that they gave Devin Singletary everything. There were 2 short periods of time where they gave Devin Singletary everything, and then he was usable. Outside of that, nobody else was ever usable. So I think that's where we are. Like this week, I have Devin Singletary very low. I have him at 30. So 30 is not usable.
David Bell thoughts.
What is there to give thoughts on? He didn't do anything. Stash, yeah, but there's nothing to give thoughts on. He didn't do anything.
Austin
What did he
Eckler.
do?
RB1.
That is one is a problem. That one is a problem. He
RB 1 to 12 or RB 1 overall? You're saying, Addison? What are you saying?
He is an RB1.
Okay.
In Dynasty, he may not be an RB1 for very long. If he keeps up
in Dynasty, no.
If he keeps up the level of play that he showed in week 1, which was, I will say, was
horrible week 1 last year, though, too.
Yeah, but my issue here was that it was a usage problem, and a performance. Performance was bad, but usage was also bad. He didn't even play half the snaps. We saw Kelly and Michelle in for some reason. We didn't see that last year. We didn't see that kind of work split. So I am concerned. And if this is how it's going to be, Austin Eckler is going to start to plummet in my rankings.
Austin Eckler played half the snaps last year in week 1.
So then let's see if he picks it up. But he didn't play half the snaps the rest of the year. So if he was in the 60s. He was in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, but if this is how it's going to be, where we have 11 carries for the other 2 running backs, and then also other carries from a fullback.
The game was never really close, though. That's the same thing in KC. I mean, I think that's the.
I hear that, but
I guess it got close at the end with them.
I would say I'm concerned, but I have him ranked at running back 5 for week 2, so I'm not hitting a panic alarm. If week 2 is like if week 2 against Kansas City does not see more involvement in the passing game, we're going to have a problem. If it's another 4 for 36, it's going to be a problem.
He wasn't targeted at all last year. And then week 2 had 9 targets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. If week 1 is maybe week 1 is an aberration, maybe it's fine. But if week 2 is like week 1, then we're going to have an issue. But it's just one game. I'm not panicking, but I'm keeping an eye on it.
Let's see. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. A little bit tired, chill vibes from y'all. Yep, that's we are tired. I think that's
I
true.
don't feel that tired. I feel like I could do another 4 hours.
2 out of 3 of us.
What's the show? You didn't know that the show was actually a 6-hour show? No one told you?
All right, I'm gonna talk to you guys later.
Our no Superflex, no tight end, premium, solid contender, give CD, get Pittman and Gallup.
If you're a contender, I'll do it and take Pittman.
Yeah, I'll take Pittman.
Yeah.
Pittman might be valued over CeeDee by the end of the year. And then the fact that you're getting
Pittman plays Jacksonville next week, so I think he might be valued over CeeDee next week.
Holy crap.
Greens point, seriously, I'm totally kidding. No need to apologize. We'll do the work. Don't worry.
I mean, we're not mad about it, but it does actually help to put the full names in the chat.
Yeah,
Like,
we want to serve you better. Help us help you. Help us help you.
We'll go a little faster then with the full names.
Is Jeff Russ and Zach Wilson too many Wilsons for roster?
This is an elite comment. It's an elite comment. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pick to start. Okay, yeah, there we go. Lance or Dak?
Dak.
So, yeah.
Lance. I got to see Lance play well first.
Lance, get out of here. Rain Dakota Prescott, another one.
Rain Dakota, yes.
I always liked the good old Quintorris Jones.
Oh, yes, Quintorris.
That's a good one.
I do like him.
So I'll see him start 9, Wilson, Jones. Wilson for Brown and Jones. This is Hall of Fame comment right here, BJ.
Yeah,
nice job.
This is the Hall of Fame.
Sorry, guys. Thank you for the great show. Everybody like.
Yeah, everyone leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make Addison happy.
Is Derrick Henry washed, or was this Hilliard performance? I didn't feel like watching it. Derrick Henry looked washed at all.
He was not washed.
He was not washed. I mean,
Did Hilliard scored like 2 touchdowns on 3 touchdowns?
Hilliard had 5 touches.
I was gonna say he didn't.
Yeah, Dontrell Hilliard is nothing.
He just had 2 touchdowns, so it looked awesome. But like, you got to look past that a little bit. Henry had 21 carries. He's fine. Let's see.
He rushed for over 100, didn't he?
Oh, what's his?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. 82.
I will say that this game made me pretty confident in the Giants coaching staff. They want to do the right things. They just do not have the receivers, do not have the quarterback, and
they don't have the
offensive line. Really, they don't have the talent of defense either. They don't have the talent anywhere on the roster to actually deliver on any of those things. But they want to do the right.
They should all go to the other team in New York. They should just jump right over.
But yeah, if you want some facts about the Dontrell Hilliard, he only played on 18% of snaps, 12 snaps. So no,
he just got the random touchdowns.
He got 2 random receiving touchdowns. It's not someone you can trust. And I also think that they're going to get Treylon Burks and Robert Woods, who was out there for all the snaps and got 2 targets. I don't think that's going to continue either. So.
But if you somehow are rostering Derrick Henry right now and you are not going to win the championship or come close, you have to trade Henry.
Yeah. Additionally, Dontrell Hilliard is not Derrick Henry's handcuff. I heard that a lot on Twitter. That's not what would happen. If Derrick Henry went down, Hassan Haskins would be the early down back, and you would see like a 50-50 split between him and Hilliard.
But Hilliard would get the receiving.
But Hilliard's getting the receiving now. I'm not even sure it would be 50-50, but Hilliard would not.
Haskins didn't look good. That was the problem. In the preseason, he just didn't look good.
Don't sleep on Chestnut.
Chestnut wasn't even active.
He is also.
Haskins beat him out.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep. Just trade MT for CeeDee Lamb.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Even in redraft, yes. A lean CeeDee Lamb.
Eckler would you trade Mixon for Eckler?
Yes.
In Dynasty, I think I'd actually go with Mixon because he's a year younger and Eckler's starting to.
Sure.
I'm not sure Eckler has the high-end upside that I thought he did. In redraft, I think I'll still stick with Eckler barely.
Yes.
But it's barely in both. Just in redraft, I'll lean Eckler. In Dynasty, I'll lean Mixon.
Let's see. Can't wait to watch Cooper Rush lead us to the Super Bowl. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Joe Mixon had 27 rush attempts this week.
Yeah, I just think that
only had like 80 rushing yards.
That game was also had so many more of everything. I don't think that's
against TJ Watt and the Steelers, though. Come on, man.
Yeah, but he wasn't good on the 27 carries he had.
He murked the Steelers in both games last
year. He
also
had 7 catches for 63 yards.
If that is something we can count on, then Joe Mixon is going to be really excellent. But it never has been. It never has been in his 5 previous years. So that has to become something we can count on.
He could have had over 10, but every single time I watched a running back get a freaking catch, it was Samaje Perine. It was so annoying.
Who would y'all start on my final flex by this week? Out of these, Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers, Travis Etienne, or Michael Carter?
Mooney. Mooney, I don't like it.
ETN. You hate ETN.
It'd be
Mooney.
Mooney and then ETN.
Mooney.
Michael Carter is going to outtouch ETN, so I'll take him.
I'll go Mooney against Green Bay. Last chance.
If Kamara doesn't play, do you think why wouldn't Kamara play?
Ribs.
Is he hurt? What? Get out of here.
Yeah.
He ate too many of them.
I didn't see that.
I think he is gonna play though. I have him down as playing for sure.
I think he's playing. Mark Ingram though.
Thoughts on
Well, we didn't answer that one.
I would play Hunt.
Hunt.
Thoughts on Bateman? If he doesn't catch that long touchdown at the end, like this is a bad week for
But
Bateman
it's hard.
fans.
Yeah, it's hard. There was
They were winning so easily though,
Yeah, they still. I mean, Lamar still threw it 30 times.
which was kind of surprising. But I think as their running backs get healthier throughout the year, that number's going to drop too.
Bateman's snap share was honestly not great.
Bateman's dynasty value. I said it in a video that Bateman's going to lose dynasty value this year. Nobody wanted to believe me.
I mean, I was fine with it, but like Bateman sucks because he looked good, but didn't do much. So yeah, I don't know what to do. He's one of those players I don't really know what to do with.
Sell for a first.
You can't.
Just
I can't believe nobody's mentioned Devin Duvernay at all. I feel like
Because
it was
Devin
a
Duvernay.
lock.
I mean, he played like half
brought
the
up.
snaps. He caught 2 touchdowns, but I just think like you could
All
have
right,
a
but
week
who's
where
the
they
random
roll.
tight end we had brought up earlier that like nobody liked? Like I feel like the fact that we didn't get any Duvernay talk at all was just surprising.
Yeah.
I have Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon, Devontae, Michael Pittman starting so far. 2 flex spots to fill. I promise I'm wrapping
Fill
this
with
up.
who? See, these are starting already. So who are we filling the flex spots with?
So out of those 2, Mixon and Devontae, right?
Yeah, but I'm very confused here because I think these guys are already starting.
Yeah.
I don't understand this question.
Let's
Gibson
see.
is sitting of the 4.
Yeah, for sure.
I would keep Mixon.
Yeah, if you
I
have
would
Keenan
take
Allen, I'm fine. Just keeping Mixon then.
Mhm.
That works too. That's fine.
Yeah. Agree, Big D David. Let's see. Okay,
Yeah.
one more. Last one. Should I trade Diggs and Gibson for Najee and Miles Sanders?
In redraft, no. Obviously, I'd rather have Diggs over Najee and Gibson over Sanders.
Right.
In Dynasty, I
In
guess
Dynasty, I might
I'll
still
take
take the big
Najee,
side in
but
Dynasty.
I'll take Najee, but Najee scares me.
Goodbye.